Face front, true believers, and welcome to Hard Choices, the podcast where we rank the fuckability of characters from a fictional universe and attempt to reach the center of the web that we call horniness. We'll find the median, the zenith, and the nadir of fuckability, but really, this podcast is all about the people we fucked upside down in the rain along the way. And let's hope you like getting real sticky. Because today, we're looking at the friends, loves, and many, many enemies of Spider-Man. Spider-Dan, Spider-Dan, Mulkerin's my last name and my first is Dan. Monsterfucks, I've ignored, just give me a girl with a great big sword. That's me, the pretty good Spider-Dan. Our next host, you may know, he comes from a much bigger show. Make them kiss is his motto. You know him as James D'Amato. He's got a boner for Spider-Man. This is where you do your voice, James.
I'm too thrilled to speak.
All right.
I'm too thrilled to speak.
Perfect.
That's amazing.
For our next host, we didn't want another straight one. We asked a gay horse who turned us toward Annie Craton.
Hello, how are you?
All right, this is going to be our voice IDs for this episode. All right. MeganBob. Our final host is MeganBob. Some would call them a creepums, snatching up all the peepums to them. Life is a great big orgy where there's a smutty story. You'll find our MeganBob.
I love you, Dan.
All right, that'll do it. So yes, today we're talking about the most amazing, spectacular, sensational corner of the Marvel Universe, that tangled web that is Spider-Man and his many various supporting characters. We've selected 21 heroes, villains, and cigar-chomping newspaper editors, and have each independently ranked them from most fuckable to least fuckable. We'll begin by determining everyone's median character, the one ranked number 11, then crawl our way down to the bottom until we come face-to-face with our archest of enemies, the Nadir. But fear not, because just when we're contemplating turning away in defeat from our podcasting equipment, which we've left in a rain-soaked alleyway trash can,
Oh no.
we'll instead defiantly fight our way up to the zenith. As we work our way through these characters, we'll give brief reasons as to why we ranked each of them how we did. But each of us has 3 big feels interjections available, allowing us to expand any 3 entries on the list into a larger argument. Once we've revealed all the lists, we'll aggregate them to come up with a single master list, but not before taking a moment to unpack some of the untold tales behind the choices we've made. Before we dive into our list of characters, we need to turn to our own beacon of morality and guidance, our beloved Uncle MeganBob, for our definition of fuckability.
Fuckability's not about what they look like. It's about what they fuck like. So assume you are into them, they are into you. How good is the sex? And what is it like?
We are poised on the edge of the rooftop, we're ready to swing into our rankings, but first, let's take just a moment to linger on our honorable mentions.
Number 1, Chameleon. Spider-Man's first ever supervillain. But not one who really stuck around as memorably or as meaningfully as the truly compelling weirdos who did make the list.
Number 2, Flash Thompson. Peter's high school bully turned occasional host of the Venom symbiote. Has had a pretty wild character arc over the years, and good for him. Doesn't mean we really want to fuck him, though.
Number 3, Prowler. When Peter had to pull a Tony Stark and pretend that Spider-Man was his bodyguard for a bit, he had Hobie Brown, aka the Prowler, as the one who put on the red and blue tights in his place. So the fact that we didn't have room for Peter Parker's hand-picked replacement should tell you something about how stacked the final list is.
Number 4 is Mr. Negative. While Martin Lee is a major villain in both the 2010s run on Spider-Man and the 2018 PS4 video game, he hasn't been around nearly long enough as most of the other characters on this list. Give him a few more decades, and then we'll talk.
Oh, thank you, Dan. Number 5, Kingpin. Wilson Fisk has definitely been a major enemy for Spider-Man over the years, but he feels a lot more like a Daredevil villain. Stay tuned for Hard Choices Marvel Nights, which I didn't know was a thing, but I'm excited for now.
Yep, it's on the schedule now.
Ooh.
Oh, you spoke it into existence.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, Scorpion. Turns out Spider-Man has a bunch of enemies who are just big, strong dopes. Of those, the Scorpion is the least interesting.
Number 7, Hobgoblin. Spider-Man also has a bunch of enemies who are tunic-clad, bomb-chucking weirdos who cruise around on bespoke gliders. Of those, Hobgoblin is not just the least interesting, he's also the one with the most incomprehensible backstory and secret identity. We just ask for consistency on this show.
Wow, that's total Hemogoblin erasure.
Hemogoblin is a DC character, sir.
We
Good
have
point taken.
Number 8, Human Torch. Obviously, is more of a Fantastic Four character than a Spider-Man character. We nevertheless are diehard, card-carrying members of the human man shipping community. Chief among our ranks, of course, is Peter Parker himself.
Absolutely.
They need to kiss.
That's cute.
And now, for the 21 characters we will be ranking on this episode.
Number 1, Spider-Man. Antisocial high school nerd, Peter Parker was bitten by a radioactive spider during a scientific expo and got a bevy of arachnid-themed superpowers as a result. Peter learned the hard way about the link between great power and the need for great responsibility, and dedicated his life to superheroics as the Amazing Spider-Man.
Number 2, Mary Jane Watson. Actress, supermodel, and Peter's most prominent love interest.
Number 3, J. Jonah Jameson, the belligerent, cigar-chomping publisher and editor-in-chief of the Daily Bugle, who dedicated his life to making money and convincing the public of Spider-Man's position as a threat and/or menace.
Number 4, the Green Goblin. Cold but brilliant industrialist Norman Osborn was exposed to an experimental formula that granted him enhanced physical abilities, but also drove him insane. Donning a Tolkienian outfit, using advanced weaponry, he menaces New York City as the Green Goblin. The origin of his completely inexplicable haircut has yet to be revealed.
Number 5, Harry Osborn. The sad sack son of Norman Osborn and best friend of Peter Parker, Harry Osborn just wants a quiet life with his wife and son. Sadly, he's had a rough go of things over the years. Drug addiction, becoming the second Green Goblin, having a villainous AI version of himself, becoming a weird centipede zombie. Never let it be said that Marvel Comics shy away from relatable content.
Number 6, Dr. Octopus. Genius scientist Otto Octavius was merged with his experimental metal tentacles during a lab accident and decided this was all the excuse he needed to turn to a life of crime. He's been one of Spidey's most dangerous foes ever since, founding the Sinister Six and even attempting at one point to become the superior version of Spider-Man.
Number 7, Vulture. A mad scientist named Adrian Toombs who developed an electromagnetic anti-gravity harness, which allows him to fly.
Number 8, Electro. Max Dillon was an ordinary lineman who was granted incredible electricity powers and a penchant for supervillainy after being struck by lightning. While his powers make him a dangerous enemy, he's not the brightest bulb in the drawer and often serves as a minion to a brainier villain.
Number 9, Kraven the Hunter. A big game hunter dissatisfied with the lack of challenge offered to him by the natural world, Sergei Kravenov now only goes after the most dangerous targets, with Spider-Man being at the top of the list.
Number 10, Sandman. Small-time criminal Flint Marko was bitten by a radioactive beach, which is not as much of a joke as you'd think it is, and found himself transformed into a highly malleable creature made of sand. While he's mostly known for being a supervillain, he's often shown up as an anti-hero or just a straight-up hero. He even joined the Avengers for a time.
Number 11, Mysterio. When Quentin Beck grew tired of his career as a special effects artist and stuntman, he decided to use those skills for criminal gain instead. To that end, he made a wild outfit for himself, full of gadgets allowing him to project illusions.
Number 12, Venom. disgraced reporter Eddie Brock found a surprise soulmate in the form of Spider-Man's old black costume, secretly an alien symbiote. Brock and the alien bonded together into a new creature, the vicious and terrifying Venom. While Venom was, for a long time, driven by a blinding hatred for Spider-Man, he's always had a strong desire to protect innocence, meaning he's far more often depicted as an anti-hero than a full-on supervillain.
Number 13, Carnage. Forget all these mild-mannered inventors turned supervillains. Cletus Cassidy was a serial killer before a bit of the Venom symbiote got into his bloodstream. Now he's a murderous alien goop monster who delights in pain and death.
Number 14, Rhino. The big, strong dope to end all big, strong dopes. The Rhino was a Russian gangster who underwent an experimental scientific procedure which granted him immense strength, stamina, and a suit, giving him the hide and horn of a rhinoceros.
Number 15, Tombstone. Alonzo Lonnie Lincoln is a towering albino man who speaks only in whispers. He's one of New York City's most notorious crime lords, feared just as much for his cold ruthlessness as for his immense physical power.
Number 16, the Lizard. Kurt Connors was a geneticist who injected himself with a serum based on reptile DNA in hopes of regrowing his lost arm. Instead, he found himself periodically transforming into an animalistic lizard monster. The human Kurt Connors remains an ally to Spider-Man and constantly searches for a cure to his condition, while the Lizard menaces both Spidey and New York, often looking to replace humanity with a race of reptiles.
Number 17, Shocker. Herman Schultz is an engineer turned mercenary after he developed a set of gauntlets that can project powerful, destructive vibrational waves. Shocker's a bit more humble in his goals than your average supervillain, more interested in just getting rich and settling down than in revenge or world domination.
Number 18, Black Cat. Felicia Hardy decided to follow in the footsteps of her father and become a cat burglar, but after numerous confrontations with Spider-Man, many of which were romantic, she's since become something more heroic. She's equipped with claws, a whip, incredible acrobatic skills, and the ability to subconsciously grant bad luck to her enemies.
Number 19, Silver Sable. Sylvia Sablinova is a mercenary and bounty hunter who runs Silver Sable International and occasionally leads a team of anti-heroes called the Wild Pack. She's an amazing martial artist, swordswoman, markswoman, and gymnast. She's sometimes an ally to Spidey, sometimes an enemy. It all depends on who's paying the bills this month.
Number 20, Ben Reilly, a clone of Peter Parker created by the supervillain known as the Jackal. For several dark years in the 90s, both he and Peter Parker believed Ben to be the original Peter Parker, and Ben himself actually operated as Spider-Man for some time, only for the truth of Ben's clone identity to be revealed.
Number 21, May Parker. Peter Parker's doting and loving aunt who raised him after the early death of his parents. She's often portrayed as suspicious of and hostile to Spider-Man, not knowing of Peter's double identity.
And with those characters in mind, let's get to putting them on some lists, starting right in the middle with our number 11s. Annie, let's start with you. Who do you have as your median?
My median ended up being the Rhino. Now, the question we must ask is whether the suit of the Rhino is permanently sealed, or if it has a hole for his dick when he needs to pee, or if we've got like an Arrakis still suit situation going on. Like, if there's no getting at the dick, then I worry that I can't be pounded into the wall by a gigantic gamma-powered idiot who's literally and figuratively horny for me, and that's just... it's kind of a deal breaker if that's the case.
Annie, I'm so glad you touched on my question as well.
I mean, dude still got fingers, you know?
I mean, it's not the same, Dan.
It's not the same.
Refuse
Fair.
to countenance a world in which you cannot get at the dick, and that also the suit does not encompass the dick to make it a special dick in some way.
I mean, are there...
Okay.
Okay.
I fucking refuse to live in that world.
All right, well, clearly nothing is going to be left unpacked by the end of this if we keep going at this rate.
Look, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, whatever, drawing a line in the sand. This is the way it is, okay?
All right, perfect. My number 11 is the Lizard. There is something very desperate and lonely about this guy. You know, you look at like any time he has a supervillain scheme, and it's always about either like turning humans into reptiles or creating more beings who are like him. Aww. And what that tells me is this is a guy who is in search of a connection. And if he decides to connect with you, you're going to get something that it's primal and savage in the way that our particular show often favors. But there's mixed with it going to be the unmistakable flavor of relief and gratitude. You know, like he's going to fuck like an animal, but he's also going to treasure you.
Oh,
yeah.
James, who do you have as your number 11?
My number 11 is Mysterio. He is going to be in the middle because this is either going to be really great or god awful. It's like fucking an escape room. Now, imagine he lures you into his hall of bussy, and you can't tell if you're railing him or a hologram that's covering a fleshlight.
I was wondering how you got banned from all those escape rooms, James, and now I'm starting to see.
If it's fucking it is not the solution, then I don't want to mess with it, okay?
Yeah.
What is this, an escape room for cowards?
MeganBob, who do you have as your median?
Mary Jane Watson.
Okay.
All right. I know.
Fair.
I know. I get nothing aggressively dom off her. I don't get anything overtly subby. I think she's got a big heart. She's got a lot of charm, which always makes for something good. For me, B+, A-, like it's good. There is not enough traction between her and me, but for someone else, I am sure she has like for Peter, I'm sure she's number 1, but I'm sorry, for me, she is a median. She's very beautiful.
Okay. Well, I think you've suitably covered your bases.
You seemed ashamed of it, so
that's right.
That might be an indication.
You're worried that people are going to be mad at you on your own podcast?
After the shit you have said,
there are a lot of monsters on this list. In Bob's defense, we know where they're at.
Yeah,
so
I know. I was
it's a human woman.
I know, a human woman. I mean,
so many.
Good rack.
Yeah.
I'm doing
Listen, no one's going to deny she has a great rack.
I know.
Did anybody tell you that she was bitten by radioactive tits? But
all right, we are moving down the list now. We're moving on to number 12. I will start us off for this one because my number 12 is the Rhino. And for me, I mean, whether the dick comes out or not, that doesn't really translate one way or the other into fuckability. For me, though, like, Rhino's just one of those villains he's more like greedy and amoral than he is like outright cruel. And I feel like those types of characters, you know, they're capable of being good to the people that they love. And I get the sense that that's where he's at. Like with him, you've got a guy who's strong and fast. He has a ton of stamina. All those are great. There is one gigantic downside to fucking the Rhino, though. He sleeps on a concrete bed with a mattress filled with metal filings. So, gonna have to be in the kitchen, my friend, I'm afraid. Oof. James, who is your number 12?
My number 12 is the Lizard. And I put him at number 12 because he's your standard werewolf fuck, but it's reptile style. And here's the thing. He would rank higher, but he ate a boy. And that's wrong.
Never forget.
I'm sorry, that's not funny, but it is very funny to say.
It's very funny.
And wait till you hear which boy it was he ate, MeganBob.
Oh no.
I don't know what boy he ate. What boy did he eat?
He ate his own boy.
Yeah.
Oh no,
he ate his own boy.
Lizards eat their young. That's the sad truth of it.
Yep.
He lost his boy.
Yeah, I'm just like, did he think he was a hamster? What the fuck? I do not.
I was wondering who was going to bring up the lizard's boy eating propensities tonight.
Look, I have not read enough zoo books. Clearly, I don't understand. I don't have my finger on the fucking pulse.
But Bob, it comes with this fantastic elephant issue.
It's true.
There's a stunning tiger
And if you
poster.
order now, you get the dinosaur issue as well.
Oh fuck! I do love the dinosaur issue.
It could be delivered to your
MeganBob,
mailbox.
why don't you tell us who your dinosaur issue is? The dinosaur issue, of course, famously being issue number 12 of Zoo Books.
Look, not to be ageist, it is May Parker. There are May Parkers who fuck. There are those who kind of fuck. The ones who fuck. there are ones who like to bite down on their own arm to like stay quiet. So like, okay, we have a kid in the house. We got to keep quiet kind of fuck. There is that May Parker. And like, she wears your hoodie the next day while she's drinking coffee. Like, ugh. Maybe what I'm saying is Marissa Tomei fucks. But the point is, nice things for May Parker 2023. 2024, 2025, just nice things for May Parker. And if I am one of them, great, but just nice things for May Parker, okay?
Annie, how about you? Who's your 12?
My 12 was Silver Sable, who most of my exposure to her comes from the 2018 Spider-Man game. So, like, I grew up in the 90s, so I am very weak to a badass lady in a trench coat and harness. And, like, I'm keyed for that. But she's also inextricably related in my mind to hordes of goons with really redundant gameplay, and I feel like the hordes of goons would like crowd in on the sex, and that would and like not like fun, like I'm bringing some guys to the sex. It would be like I'm bringing some hired goons who are just gonna stand in the room and yell stuff, and it's gonna kill the mood, honey.
See, this is why we have multiple hosts, because I can think of one particular recurring host who is very fond of the idea of having a whole bunch of guys just go to work on him. So
that's guys, not goons.
It's not guys.
These are goons.
These are just goons. They're not.
Yeah, these aren't craftspeople.
So I'm sorry. So the fact that they're making a paycheck is a deal breaker for you?
No, they're not.
All right.
Where's the artistry? You know.
I'm saying it is technically unskilled labor, and she's not going to be bringing her A-team to the game. Like, she's going to be bringing the guys who are just there who are just going to fill the room with bodies, and they're not even going to be, like, sexy bodies, and they're not even going to be there to, like, do anything
They are
going to
run a train on you with the same vigor that I approached my mailroom job back at the travel agency.
Exactly. No technique.
Nope, exactly.
All right. I'm making a note of this for let's unpack that, but okay. All right. Those were our 12s. James, why don't you start us off with your number 13,
My
please?
number 13 is Sandman. And I had some, complicated thoughts about this because there is a lot of potential in Sandman. He's got this amorphous body. The sand thing, I think, is my primary hang-up. I don't know the texture of that fuck, and that is going to go... Yeah. That could break really bad really quick. There is a lot of kink stuff that is possible with Sandman, but it is like mostly in immobilizing. And I think the way that Sandman would do it would be a little bit too claustrophobic for me. So I'm just going to have to pass on that one.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, we're hitting your passes already at number 13.
I'm not, you say, so passes, that's a strong word.
Okay.
That's a strong word.
All right.
I'm unsure. All right.
Whoa. That was not a swipe left.
Yeah.
All
that
right.
was a save for later.
Yeah.
I'll tell Flint Marco you're a maybe then. Okay. MeganBob, how about you? Who's your 13?
J. Jonah Jameson.
Mm-hmm.
I know, could have been a lot higher on the list, but I had to give it some real thought. I don't like that he's an asshole to his employees or to his wife. I don't think he's good at sex. I think he smells bad. But I would die for the way that J.K. Simmons throws his head back and laughs. the fucking satisfaction that if J. Jonah Jameson and I've used the phrase like let me give him an under the desk blowjob while he yelled at someone else, I am 1000% enough of a piece of shit to enjoy that. Like, ooh, it's not me and I get to enjoy it. This is amazing.
Very good. Annie, who was your 13?
My 13 was Tombstone. Like, okay, pointy teeth. Pointy teeth. Pointy teeth, you say. But, like, my question comes down to the skin, because it feels like if his skin is, like, bulletproof and indestructible, I feel like I'd probably be trying to bang somebody with a piece of cold marble between his legs, which is not a no.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine body heat transfer super well, and, like, that's a great popsicle for a hot summer day, but, like, anytime in the winter, my options are limited.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good point. I had not considered that.
Oh, yeah, Dan hates being cold. This is a good point. Dan's like, I gotta reorganize my list.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to re-examine that. All right. My 13 is May Parker. And look, Aunt May fucks.
Yeah.
I was reading through some Spider-Man issues in preparation for this episode, and there's an issue where this woman, who is approximately 300 years old,
That's true.
meets J. Jonah Jameson's father, and the two of them are in bed together the next issue.
Yeah!
She fucks, and she knows what she is doing.
Yes!
All right.
We are on to our number 14s.
Love to
and
see
we are
it.
starting this round off with MeganBob. Who do you have at 14?
Electro! Tolerable surface top or bottom. He's gonna try! He's gonna try really, really hard. It's gonna be a disaster. Don't let him give input. And I know you're thinking, oh, he's the guy with the violet wand. This is the guy, 100%. The vibe I get is the guy who saw a picture, let's be very clear, a picture of Shibari and was like, I can do that. Such that vibe. And is pissed that no one lets him ever try it. He's the reason all the articles say the first thing that you buy whenever you're thinking about rope play is some good safety scissors. This motherfucker.
When you're right, you're right. Annie, who is your 14?
My number 14 was J. Jonah Jameson. Like, I love this stupid bastard. I have a tremendous amount of respect for anybody who fathers a werewolf astronaut, but, like, the problem is that J. Jonah Jameson would spend a lot of time yelling at me about how I'm doing a bad job at sex and then demand I get him a coffee. And, like, regardless of the quality of that sexual interaction, the next day, my social feeds would be exploding with a tell-all called Annie's Pussy, Threat or Menace! And then this is after the hookup process, which would naturally open with an all-caps demand for pictures of your vagina.
Oh my god, no, he's my, like, threat or menace? You don't want that to be on the fucking front page?
I mean, I would call my pussy, like, is this a threat or menace? I would own that, but I don't want that to be thrust upon me without my consent.
Okay, fair enough.
I wonder if maybe, as this episode goes on, we should each consider whether our own respective set of genitalia are a threat or a menace. And just kind of, you know.
Let that one marinate a little.
Yeah, like, those are the two genders, right? Threats and menaces.
Threat or menace. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god, what a fun gender reveal kind of thing to
That's
do.
Yeah.
All right. My number 14 is Spider-Man.
Oh, what?
So, Peter Parker...
This is being recorded.
I know, man. Look, I'm not happy about this either.
Whoa!
I'm sure that's just a
If I
lie.
had an opinion that wrong, I would say in a dark cave, not in front of a microphone.
Look, man, I told you there were some surprises on my list, and this was like the first one. Like, Peter Parker is my favorite fictional character, and a lot of the like characteristics that make me love him so much also mean that I think a sexual encounter with him wouldn't be that great. He is defined by having terrible luck. He's never able to focus on his personal issues, and he inevitably disappoints anyone that he cares about. So, like, 4 out of 5 attempts to actually have sex with him would just end prematurely because, like, he would hear the sounds of police sirens outside, and he would be like, oh, I left a Bunsen burner on in my apartment, and then he would just, like, run off, you know? Like, if you are lucky enough to catch him on a night when he can actually focus on you, and if for whatever reason he's able to get out of his own head and just, like, enjoy himself for a second, I think he would be good. I think he would actually be pretty good. But, like, this rating that I put him at is me balancing out, like, a lot of false starts and disappointing near misses.
I'm just very surprised. I don't know. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just very surprised.
Well,
Honestly,
James
that's really fair.
James apparently thinks he's so smart. Why don't you tell us who your number 14 is?
My number 14 is the Vulture. So let that sink in. You've put
All
them
right.
on the same level
Wow.
now.
Wow.
And he's a boring villain, and he's old. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. The Vulture, because we're not yet at the nose. The Vulture is an older gentleman who keeps in shape. This man flaps around that little wingsuit. And like, this is pre-Michael Keaton stepping into those wings. So like, there is a lot going on there. I think whether you are attracted to comic book Adrian Toomes, I feel impossible, but sure, or not, you can't deny that dude probably fucks. And he probably fucks like in a way that is thoughtful and dedicated. I am once again returning to the magnificent sex, like pointing out that if you're maintaining a sexual like lifestyle as an older person, you're probably having pretty good sex, just by the numbers. So as much as I wouldn't want to have sex with him, I'll bet if I did, I would enjoy it against my will.
Just like Annie is leaning away as though trying to escape the vulture's sexual energy.
No, thank you. No.
All right.
Can't do it. I can't put myself in those shoes. I can't do it. Can't imagine.
All right, we're moving on to our number 15s now. MeganBob, who do you have at number 15?
Green Goblin. I think how good it is depends precisely on how much you can get into either Mormon porn or theater kids on coke. I have experienced both. The answer is 15.
Wait, so Norman Osborn is the first and Green Goblin is the second? Is that what you're saying? Where does the Mormon porn come in? I might have been missing something.
This is whenever he's in his cold and distant and like kind of no. Mormon porn is very like nothing is given away. It is very weird and distant.
I
it
see.
is some weird ass shit.
Okay,
Interesting.
Lots of stoicness.
Oh, yeah. You have never seen someone so coldly look at a pussy. It is the weirdest ass shit.
Now, based on previous Hard Choices episodes, I would think that would be a shoo-in for the top 3 spot for you, Bob.
Good question.
I also have to contend with this theater kid on coke.
Okay, all right. Okay.
And
All
look,
right.
there's some very shiny stuff at the top. So
Look, it's not called Easy Choices, so I get it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
James, who is your number 15?
My number 15 is going to be the Rhino, and it is because I don't know if you can get that dick out of there. There are some incarnations of the Rhino where like the suit is like kind of a dip job style thing, and it's just packed in there. It's not getting out of there. Which I do like to look at these characters in, okay, what's an ideal scenario for this person though? And I will say, for somebody who is into chastity, the Rhino might actually be fucking great for you. Because he's not going to get out of there, and he's a big, powerful guy who can like smash brick walls. So if you work him up in a situation where there's literally nothing he can do about it, I feel like there are very green pastures for the Rhino to graze in. But for me personally, just not into it.
you're selling me.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's pretty good.
That's a good angle.
Yeah. My number 15 is a Big Feels.
Okay.
My number 15 is J. Jonah Jameson.
All
Okay.
right.
Hell
So-
yeah.
I have taken the rare but not unheard of tack here of making a ranked sublist of different types of sex you could have with Jonah.
Oh.
At the bottom is straightforward vanilla sex where he's in charge and there's nothing else to it.
Nope.
Like the dude does get points for like passion and energy, but I think it's not going to be especially satisfying. And unfortunately for him, and part of the main reason why he's in the portion of my list that he is that I think that this is also the most likely encounter you're going to have if you run into him. So next up on his rankings is the angry fuck. If you can manage to maintain the delicate balancing act of making him equally angry and horny, then he will attack you with a degree of ferocity that he usually reserves for Spider-Man in his headlines. So that's number 2. At the top of this tier is if you can manage to dom him. He would never admit it, but I think he secretly longs for a situation in which control is taken entirely out of his hands.
Yep.
And all he has to do is allow his master or mistress to take the figurative or literal reins. And for the right personality, I think getting to dom someone who is used to exercising power in the way that Jonah does, I think that would be very gratifying. And I think that Jonah would also leave that experience feeling the type of satisfaction that is someone else doing something for him unasked. And that is something I feel like he rarely gets to feel or experience. So there are some good options here with Jonah, but you have to be the right kind of person and in the right kind of situation in order to see those situations.
Oh my God, he might be nice if you dommed him.
Yeah. I legitimately think he might be.
That is compelling.
Yeah. Annie, who is your 15?
My 15 was the shocker. Like, he's just kind of a mid-grade supervillain. I bet the suit is comfy because it's all, like, quilted or whatever. I don't care if it's fishnets. I believe it's quilted. But, like, he definitely seems like he needs someone to insult him in the middle of topping him, tell him that he's, like, a terrible bad guy, that, like, he only gets into the Sinister Six because everybody who's actually good at being a Spider-Man villain is in jail or dead. And, like, I think you could really get him riled up and ready to prove that he deserves to be here. And then the trick is to just redirect that energy away from knocking over a bank to, like, fucking me.
I can tell this isn't the first time you've tried to seduce a supervillain. Very good.
You gotta know how to work it.
We are on to our number 16s. James, who do you have at 16?
Number 16 is Tombstone. He is like the Rhino, but smaller and with worse skin.
Okay. My number 16 is Silver Sable.
Whoa.
And this is a weird case in which the core premise of the show actually hurts the character's standing for me a little bit. Primarily because I don't think Silver Sable particularly values her own comfort or pleasure. You know, she's a professional. She cares deeply about her own country. And I think that anytime she's not working is time that she's like mentally counting down until she can start being productive again. So I don't think she like values her own free time. Weirdly, I think that a better scenario with her wouldn't be one in which like she was into you and was pursuing you for like gratification, but if she had to fuck you as part of a job she was doing, because that is when like you will see her passion and her skill come out, because then she's like being a professional. But that's not what the premise of the show is. So I feel like I can't evaluate her on those grounds. So that's where she is for me.
Fascinating.
Annie, who was your 16?
Harry Osborn. Listen, if we're gonna go for like Green Goblin Harry Osborn, then he has to keep the mask on. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep trying to fixate on what the fuck is going on with his horizontal cornrow hair stripes, and I would not be able to like focus on any other part of the sex. But the other problem is that like he has the vibe where he is liable to fixate on me as the solution to all of his personal problems. And man, like he is such an extreme emotional fixer-upper, and I'm just here to fuck a goblin, man.
How many times have we all been there? Just like,
how many? You're just trying to fuck a goblin, and then somebody brings a whole bunch of like human feelings into it. It's just, I'm here to get blown up.
I know. What the fuck?
MeganBob, which goblin are you fucking at number 16?
Sandman. I feel like there's someone who does not have a handle on their shit, and the sex is just another facet of that. Like, I don't think the sex is even bad in a way that's specific to anything. It's just bad because he's got a lot going on. It's not working out. And he's like, well, at least this is the one that feels good amongst the many things that I do that don't work out. And it's like, he's a sad sack, and I just kind of want to buy him a coffee and be like, buddy, none of this is working out for you. Do you want to, like, can we talk about your career? Do you want to do some work in soil erosion? Like, I want to nurture him. I want to mentor Sandman. I don't want to fuck him, but if I had to fuck him, it would be blandly bad. I know. I feel bad for him.
That brings us now to our number 17s. I will start this one. My number 17 is the Vulture. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt here, but like, I honestly struggle to conceive of any sexual encounter with the Vulture that is any good. Like, he's just a bit too, like, self-conscious and defensive about the things that he perceives about his own shortcomings. Like, he has never been a major player, and he kind of knows it, and he kind of makes it everyone else's problem.
Mm-hmm.
Annie, how about you? Who's your 17?
My 17 was May Parker. Like, again, grew up in the 90s. The Aunt May that lives in my head is ancient and very, very obtuse about that no-good young man Spider-Man, who's definitely not her sweet, nice young nephew, Peter. And also, she looks like Mary Worth, like the Jogiella Mary Worth. And, like, I just, it's not good for me. Like, I probably would go for it for, like, the Into the Spider-Verse bisexual icon May Parker, but, like, not sort of like the platonic ideal May Parker. She's just gonna make me salmon squares and give me advice about Charterstone, which is a very specific joke just for me and anyone who reads Mary Worth a lot.
MeganBob, who is your number 17?
Lizard. I think Kurt Connors is a wow boobs. I'm interested in Lizard primarily. Like, the wow boobs is great. That's great. Grave concerns about the sapience, way more so than with werewolf stuff. Like, that Lizard guy seems... I don't know if I'm like, I think you might eat me for reals. That makes it hard to enjoy fucking a lizard man, but I want to asterisk. Not impossible.
So in a Secret Wars scenario, Secret Wars the Lizard, where he has Kurt Connors' scientific mind, unless he is emotionally destabilized. Because then you're in an interesting scenario where you could tease the animal man out of him.
Yeah, that would be... See, there's so many... All of these characters have been through everything, so I'm like, fuck. But I saw him, like, looking at his clothes going, and not in, like, a... Like, I'm so fucking sick of civilization way, but just in, like, a, what are these? And so I was going, this doesn't seem like a choice you made.
So I can eat him.
I gotta say, though, a friend has pointed this out to me in that, like, it definitely takes, like, a monster fucker to really narrow down the difference between sentience and sapience, because it is an incredibly important distinction.
Yeah.
And I love that for us.
No joke.
We're a special sort.
Yeah.
Good
James,
for the ecosystem.
James, who is your 17?
17 is a shocker. So we really hit my nose at Tombstone. The Shocker is a comically incompetent villain. Something wacky is going to go wrong with that sex. He is going to be arrested by Spider-Man mid-sex, which actually might be good because then I fuck Spider-Man instead. That's the only way that encounter can go down. He's got nothing going for him. He's not confident. And yeah, maybe you could tease him into trying, but in doing so, he will step on a roller skate and, like, fall into a punch bowl or something.
Oh my God! I'm in love. I don't know that I want to fuck him, but I love him.
All right, those were our 17s. Annie, why don't you start us off with your 18?
My 18 is Electro. He just does so much nothing for me. Like, you know, maybe he could give me some static charges during sex to spice things up, but I do not trust this dude to not fry my nervous system. Like, I would rather just tell him, like, just listen, I'm good here. I'll take care of myself. You just go rob a bank because you're not really built for the mildly more complex heist it would take to get access to my vault.
How about you, Bob? Who's your 18?
Mysterio. He has big, I know I'm the smartest guy in the room energy. I've had Doms like that. Didn't want to fuck him then. Don't want to fuck him now. He could probably make me think that's a good fuck, but like, I'd rather have an actual good fuck. And I like a mind fuck, but I get the sense that he's so far up his own ass that it's like, are we really even doing blackmail play, or are you just good at Photoshop? Like, what is even happening here?
Difficult to be up your own ass with that fishbowl helmet on, but he found a way, apparently.
Live dangerously.
James, who is your 18?
My 18 is Harry Osborn, Green Goblin. He is the, passingly handsome son of a billionaire. There's no way this kid's good at sex. There's no fucking way. And what did he do? That's his high school years. After that, he's just had emotional trauma after emotional trauma. I can't imagine him even being able to engage in sex, let alone be present enough to be good at it. And even if you have the goblin transformation midway, then you're still fucking a goblin. And a goblin, sure, they have an intensity and a dangerous energy, but they're also weird little guys. I don't think that's going to go well for you.
James.
Sometimes you want a fucked up little guy.
Yeah, weird little rat.
There are other options. I could be teasing a big rhino man until he breaks the building.
All right. Okay.
My number 18 is also Harry Osborn. He's been through a lot of personality shifts over the years. He's sometimes anxious or obsessive or jealous or just, outright murderous. And I think it says a lot about him and maybe about me that sexually, the most appealing version to me is the version of Harry Osborn who is kind of pathetic and pitiable. I'm not beyond seeing the appeal in the scenario in which I'm showing kindness and affection to someone who's been broken over and over again by the vagaries of life as a Spider-Man supporting character.
Sure.
But Harry Osborn needs way more than a one-night stand could offer him, and I just I don't think either of us are going to come away from this encounter happy. All right, we are very near the bottom now. We're into our bottom 3, starting with our number 19s. Annie, who was your 19?
The Vulture. I'm not saying I wouldn't like to be flown above the city and fucked in midair by a winged creature. I am but a simple monster fucker. But midair fuckery requires at least one of you to have better than normal body temperature, and this is the Vulture, who is an old man who has not known the sensation of warmth since before the war, and no, he will not specify which war. A flying peepsums is still, alas, a peepums.
Oh.
James, you're 19?
My 19 is unfortunately J. Jonah Jameson. I wanted him to rank higher. I do, because he is a man defined by passion. But again, similar to Dan, I run into the problem of the premise. The premise is that he is into you. And here's the thing that I truly believe about J. Jonah Jameson. He loves his wife. That man loves his wife.
Yeah.
And treats her poorly. He just is not going to have that kind of powerful sexual passion that you want him to have unless you are Spider-Man. And as either a bottom to Spider-Man or top to Spider-Man, he's going to be fucking great. But you have to be Spider-Man. Otherwise, he is not going to be able to get it up in that way.
My number 19 is Electro. So Electro's first wife left him because she was dissatisfied with their lifestyle. Electro's reaction to that event was to look for another wife, but he specifically went looking for one who was less of an individual and more willing to just accept whatever he wanted to do. So if while in the bedroom you propose to Electro anything other than exactly what he wants to do, he's gonna sigh in exasperation and just be like, oh great, someone else with an opinion about how I should be living my life. This guy needs to learn how to compromise.
Oh, fuck this guy. But not fuck this guy.
Bob, who is your 19?
Ben Reilly. You ever fuck somebody who doesn't really know what their deal is? Yeah, it's called your 20s. I feel very confident in saying that while there are some standout instances in there, it was not with people who were kind of clutching at straws. So I am sorry, Scarlet Spider. I know you're trying very hard, but no.
That brings us to our 20s. I will start this one off. And my number 20 is Carnage. It is very, very rare for Cletus Cassidy to give a shit about anyone other than himself and his symbiote. As far as I can remember, I think only Shriek has really ever like fallen into that category. So given that Carnage is actually into me and may not want to kill me right this second, and I'm being asked to evaluate whether the sex with him under these circumstances would be any good, I don't really think so, no. Like, he's capable of having fun, but most of the time that revolves around pain, and, like, even if you're into that sort of thing, this guy doesn't believe in safe words. Like, it's just not going to be good.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah.
He's my 20 as well.
Okay.
Sex is interpersonal. This isn't somebody who gets that. I think at best, like best case scenario, I now have an extremely dangerous sub that I can keep on like a chain. And not one that I can use for anything. He's too dangerous.
He's just a decorative
essence,
piece.
Pretty much. James, I've raised my insurance premiums for nothing. I don't understand how insurance works, but I presume now that I have this dangerous, submissive living on a little chain in my house, I have to report that to somebody. It's like owning a tiger.
Yeah, that's what happened to that lady at the end of the Babadook.
Exactly.
All right, Annie, who is your 20?
Norman Osborn, like, is there a sugar daddy situation we can work out here where like he bankrolls my lifestyle, but I don't have to fuck him but once a fortnight? Because, like, honestly, no, not even if he wants me to look at his enormous painting of Willem Dafoe that he hangs above his mantle. Like, maybe I can, like, send him some sexts about how I'm horny about the idea of being thrown off a bridge. But just, like, role play. I don't want to actually be thrown off a bridge, and he will throw me off a bridge. I don't think this is gonna work.
And James, your 20.
My 20 is also Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin.
Hey!
Though, Annie, I will say, you did bring up an interesting situation. If we are in a situation where we are fin-doming the Green Goblin, I think that's actually pretty great. And if there's like a cucking thing thrown in, if you're just telling the Green Goblin about all of the cool sex that you're having with Spider-Man, that's actually a great situation. But that is the only good situation.
You could cuck like Norman by fucking the Goblin, because like you could just do it with the same guy, but then you're fucking the Goblin?
That Goblin, the thing about the Goblin is it's not sexy. It's not. It's not.
He's got that high-pitched, screechy voice.
There's nothing sexy about the Green Goblin.
That's not a no. That's not a no.
Bring me that pussy.
No, thank you, Norm. No.
He always brings it out, and you're like, no, Norm.
No.
I'm going to come.
Stop, sir.
You just keep like a little spray bottle by the
Oh
side
my
of the
god,
bed.
you would like think you're fucking Norm, and then like in the middle of it, like the voice starts pitching up, and you're like, no.
Yeah. And so the best things about any kind of sexual relationship with this person would be not having sex with them, which is bottom of the list. Unfortunate. Could be a fun decorative piece, a la MeganBob style.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You're selling me on this like now chaos. Like now I'm like, oh, I have somebody I can like fight with, and now I'm like angry at them during sex, and like I wouldn't necessarily enjoy the sex, but I would have an emotion about it that wouldn't. I don't know.
You
I
can
could be
get
okay
a better
with this.
version of that from
You're right.
another on
You're
this
right.
list.
Like
You're
a
right.
fucked up little goblin, yes, but this fucked up little goblin.
You're right.
Those are some scorching hot takes on number 20, which means there's only one left to go. James,
It's
who is the
Carnage.
bottom of your list?
It's Carnage. You'll die. You'll die. I know the rule says he's into you. He's into you in a killing you way. It sucks. Also, symbiote aside, taking the best part away from him, he's a ginger. He's just, there's nothing. There's nothing there.
Wow.
He'll shrivel up in the sun like a raisin.
You can't take him to the beach? Nothing.
He is a dream deferred.
All right. Bob, who is your 21?
Harry Osborn. Okay. I went out of my way to never fuck this guy in my life. Because the one time I got remotely close story time, the Harry Osborn guy, no joke, slapped me with his soft dick while anime played in the background and I left. And I was like, that's your move, my dude. That's a Harry Osborn. How good is the sex? That fucking good. Get the fuck out, man. Get the fuck out.
Wow.
I know. A powerful move of a person who doesn't understand what's happening.
How are you still even remotely attracted to men at this point? I do not understand.
Indomitable will, I would say.
That's a triumph of the human spirit.
Yeah. The best revenge is living well, is what you're saying.
Dan, the word hero gets thrown around a lot these days.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Honestly, what is MeganBob if not an unrelenting font of optimism?
All right. My number 21 is another big feels for me. And my number 21 is the Sandman.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
Man, I want this to be good. Like, he's a big old dummy with a heart of gold, and I feel like anyone who would take time out of their day to go grab a beer with Ben Grimm would be at least, like, a pretty good guy to spend time with.
Yeah.
But I hate to be the token non-monster fucker on this call, but as James alluded to, the sand body is a complete deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
Like, any kind of physical contact that I can picture in my head it seems so immediately and deeply uncomfortable that it instantly loses any and all appeal as soon as I imagine the other person having a body whose texture is sand.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted this to work. I went through a bunch of different, like, positions and setups and, ways of approaching it, but it always comes down to skin on skin contact, and therefore it's always going to be sand, right? Like, I'm sorry.
We should give some acknowledgement to the Sam Raimi movies, which established that his body is made out of silicates. So it's it might be more like fucking some Orbeez, but even still, I think that's the best case scenario for that body.
Yeah, when that's your best case.
Pull on your skin and get caught on your hair in an unpleasant way that maybe some people, like the whole full body latex suit, I can be on that, but like, yeah, that's got to be situated so that is not constantly pulling.
You fucking some squand at a certain point, and you don't. It's not gonna.
Ooh, deep cut from the night squand. Everybody,
all you '90s kids out there.
It occurs to me now. I wonder if that's why he hangs out with Ben Grimm as much as he does, because it's like, maybe he's hoping that like the Thing is one of the few people on Earth who wouldn't be bothered enough by the texture, and he's just holding out hope that one day Ben Grimm's gonna give him a handy or something.
Here's the thing with that. Sand is it's a polisher. You're basically just putting Ben Grimm's dick in a rock tumbler. It's gonna be shiny.
Ooh!
I mean, I feel like that's a selling point. Right?
I have to go on AO3 for some reasons.
Yep.
I will return. But I must leave.
Annie, that brings us to you. Who do you have at 21?
Yeah, great. We get to continue this conversation because my number 21 is also Sandman.
Perfect.
Okay, look. Yeast infection. This man is a walking yeast infection waiting to happen. No, never, absolutely not. Also, do you know how fucking hard it is to get sand out of bed sheets? It is always there. You're never getting it out. You are going to have an unpleasant pussy, and it is going to be sand in your sheets for weeks. Absolutely not.
Can you imagine like getting a subpar fuck and your pussy is wrecked and you have to go to the doctor about it?
You gotta go to the doctor.
Fuck.
It's even. It's
the
like
rage.
Sure. And we're not talking about like a disease or something, but a yeast infection is the worst. No,
if
thank
you've
you.
never had one, the fuck off.
I've seen this before. This is a gritty pussy. And I know you've been fucking the Sandman. That's the only way that happens.
Yeah, whenever the doctor's like, and I'm like,
it's like, have you had any sand-based partners recently?
How
It's like,
is Mr. Marco?
no.
you're like, look, fuck you, pal. Like,
I mean,
man.
it's either that or you found some dried gack and decided to do something unspeakable to it.
I know you're not pulling Naruto Gaara, so it's Flint Marco. We know it's Flint Marco.
It is night on the grounds of the Kravenoff estate. Rain comes down in sheets from the night sky above. We see a small graveyard not far from the manor. Most of the headstones here are worn and cracked from age, but one stands out from the others, due to having obviously been placed here quite recently. The epitaph reads, "Here lies hard choices." Then, a flash of lightning. The soil in front of the headstone begins to stir. Rising, slowly but triumphantly from the ground, emerges our boner.
Yeah!
Hard and ready to once again take up the mantle of duty and fight our way to the zenith. Starting at number 10 with MeganBob. Who is your number 10?
Silver Sable. I take your point, Dan, but I feel like she's got some bro fuck energy. Like, I feel like it's going to be unpretentious, mostly like self-satisfied. She's here for her, but also she's got connections. I feel like she'll fuck you, and she's been around the world. She's seen some shit. She knows people. You finish fucking her, the first thing she's going to say afterwards is like, you know who you'd actually have a lot of fun with? And then she's going to hook you up with one of her shady as shit connections. Ah!
Bob, her home nation is right next door to Latveria, so...
Yeah! I can red paperclip my way to fucking Dr. Doom.
Absolutely. James, who is your number 10?
My number 10 is Electro. And a lot of good points have been made about Electro, but the thing that I want everybody to keep in mind is that he is essentially a human purple wand. So for a certain subset of fetish, this is like a truly wonderful sensory experience. We talk a lot on this show about the exotic fuck, and I think Electro can supply that. Now, yes, he is incompetent. He is just a couple rungs above shocker level incompetent, but as a sub, there's some appealing things that could happen there. This is like going with stock bog standard Electro. Obviously, we have movie Electro, who is way hotter and way more competent, and actually way more like a purple wand. But yeah, I feel like there's too much potential for this fuck to rank it any lower than this.
All right. My number 10 is Ben Reilly. From a fuckability standpoint, the one thing that was holding Peter Parker back from me from being incredible was his crippling sense of responsibility. He can't ever fully devote himself to something as personally pleasurable as sex because, like, he's always got to jump out a window to go fight Demo Goblin or whatever. So, like, Ben Reilly has been through an absolute torrent of shit over the last couple of decades, and so he's become this, like, darker and more selfish person as a result. Now, he's also significantly less nice than Peter Parker, so he doesn't, catapult up to the top of the list or anything. But it turns out that, like, for me, being a somewhat edgy disaster actually kind of does Peter Parker some favors. Annie, how about you? Who's your 10?
Okay. I got a big feels on this one.
Ooh.
I'm seeing a gap in some rankings on your end, Annie, and I'm curious when the other shoe's going to drop on that.
My number 10 is Mysterio.
Okay. Hasn't dropped yet, but go ahead.
Here's the thing about Mysterio. The most likely scenario here is the one in which he throws around a lot of literal smoke and mirrors, and he's like, "Congratulations! You have now had the most amazing sex of your life with Mysterio!" Mysterio! And you think for a second that he's like whisked you away on the seduction of your life with gardens of flowers and lavish meals and tender embraces and silk sheets and penthouse floor-to-ceiling windows. And really, when the illusion's all clear, what's actually happened is that he stuck his dick in you for 5 seconds, then used a dildo he did not clean properly while he jacks off onto your face while talking about how great he is, and you're actually on a cheap mattress on the floor of an abandoned warehouse somewhere in Jersey. And then he twirls his cape dramatically and tells you, "You're welcome for the experience!" And he vanishes, leaving you to find your own clothes and bus back to your hotel. And here's the thing, that's terrible. What? But you have a hell of a story to tell. And probably a few diseases that you need to check on because that condom was probably also an illusion.
Oh, fuck. You're really... I was like, oh, I put him too low now. It sounds like a terrible mistake. I love him.
It is an awful mistake to have sex with Mysterio, but my God, the story you get to tell afterwards just kept bumping him up in my rankings.
The idea of being in the middle of this kind of grandiose and self-congratulatory aftercare, and then out of the hologram, cum just shoots on my face, is I cannot say how it raises him in the ranks, but it truly does.
It's so powerful.
This
You're like,
awful little
oh my
gadfly
God.
of a Tom. I adore it.
I'm having this one. What the? This is not doing nothing for me. To have this bait and switch. Okay.
And then again, the big theatrics as he just yells about himself and then leaves. There's something charming about how fucking awful that is.
Yeah, it's real oh you energy.
Oh you. I did this to myself.
He's gonna swirl the cape as he slams the door behind him. Something falls off the wall whenever he slams the door. Oh.
And you hear the rickety creak of the stairs.
Oh my God.
As he runs away.
Also, not his apartment. You do not know whose apartment.
Yeah.
You should probably get out of here in 15 minutes.
Maybe if he's feeling really generous, he left some bus fare.
Oh, wow.
But not enough for the actual bus ride. Enough
We're going halvesies on this, right? All right, we are moving on to our number 9s. James, who do you have at number 9?
Number 9 is Ben Reilly. This is an edgier Spider-Man who cries. During, afterwards, doesn't matter when, he's gonna cry. So, not a bad thing necessarily, actually a very good thing in certain circumstances, but there are just many better people on this list.
My number 9 is Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
So one of his less frequently used aliases nowadays is the Master Planner. And that's where this guy is at his most confident, when he's able to meticulously plan every step of the encounter. So it's we'll watch the big sick. I'll start holding their hand 25 minutes from the end. And then I'll start groping them 4 minutes from the end. And then we'll go to the bedroom. We'll engage in 12 minutes of foreplay, followed by 8 minutes of oral sex, and then 11 minutes of missionary. And it's one of those scenarios where...
Your Alfred Molina impression is very good, by the way.
I was actually leaning more toward the Dr. Octopus from the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon. But anyway, yes, by and large, he's good at planning. He knows what he's doing. He likes to show off how good and how smart he is. So, you're probably going to have a good time. But it's gonna feel very formulaic. And if you try to deviate from this plan, or you try to do something spontaneous, he's gonna get flustered, probably call you a witless dolt. So, only those with a shame kink need apply.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Annie, who is your 9?
My number 9 was also Ben Reilly. Oh, this angsty boy. Like, yes, he is just on the edge between too angsty and sad to fuck, but he's also just angsty enough to be interesting. Like, this dude would brood at the window before and after sex, and like maybe during. Like, maybe you strap in and peg him against the window so he can brood while you're pounding his ass, just so he can feel something, anything, while being sad about it.
Yeah.
But if I'm being honest, I'm mostly here for the fact that it would be really, really, really funny to call him Peter in the middle of sex.
Oh, goodness.
Just send him on another existential spiral for like another 12 to 16 issues, because what if he actually is Peter this time? Like, this time for sure, right?
Annie!
Right as he comes. Oh my God.
Right as he comes.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Are we supervillains?
You know what we need in the year of our Lord 2023? We need another Clone Saga.
Yeah. God.
We're hurting for it.
Annie, I hate to say this, but that plan you just put forward does sound like the sort of thing that Norman Osborn would concoct.
Oh no!
So, I think you might have found your new vocation as a Spider-Man villain. All right, and that brings us to Bob. Who is your number 9?
Big feels. It is Spider-Man. Because Peter Parker has it in him to give the most amazing fuck out there. Because his heart is huge. And whenever somebody brings everything in them to sex, it is life-changing. There is such a fucking ceiling on this fuck. Therapy talk. His heart is big enough for everyone but him.
Oh.
Yeah. He fucks a million, and that's great. But I get why Felicia Hardy wants Spider-Man and not Peter Parker. I do have a question for the room, though. At what point during the blowjob do you say, you know, this would be better if you were in therapy? Like, when can I do it? When he's about to come? Is this like an early, just like ramping up part of it?
I think you do it like right after he comes, so he's like malleable.
Ooh, smart. Get him while he's weak and suggestible.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to tip my hand too much, but like pretty much any time you're with Peter Parker, he's at his most malleable. So I kind of think you could dom that kid into therapy real easy.
Okay. All right. Okay. Then, because it's in there. Peter, you got to love yourself, baby. Go to therapy.
Yeah. That brings us to our number 8s, and my number 8 is Tombstone. In the words of past Hard Choices guest Kip Mulkerin, Keith motherfucking David. The epitome of the clothes stay on fuck.
Ooh.
Nothing intimate, nothing emotional, just slow, methodical, intense fucking in one of the nicest penthouse apartments in New York City. And at the end, as you are approaching climax, he tilts your chin up with a finger. He runs his pointed teeth over your neck in a way that's just shy of painful. And he whispers into your ear, "Come for daddy."
Yes! Oh no!
Yeah.
I don't even like daddy shit, but oh no.
Yeah. I know.
Oh.
Annie, who do you have at number 8?
My number 8 is Carnage.
There it is. There's that other shoe.
Risk it all.
Listen, when this symbiote gets into my pussy, and he will, there's gonna be carnage. No, seriously though, like the Venom 2 Carnage, like this big gooey monster fucker criminal, I will get stabbed by a knife covered in carnage goo, but man, this dude, it's just like gay sex crime chaos incarnate. This is like a knife cat who will kill me.
Yes!
Like, there will be something in every single hole. But, you know, kind of like what we've talked about, the downside is he is not a considerate lover, so you have to be there to be used.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, if that is what you are there for, probably will die afterwards. But I don't know if that's a deal breaker.
I know. I'm, look, low-key, I'm kind of with you.
Everything he does, Venom does better.
everything.
I know. No, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. He would be like, the thing is, I don't want Carnage to talk.
Oh, like, Venom's not lower on my list.
Yeah, I know
will-
that. I know that.
I will point out, Venom has yet to appear on anyone.
Yeah.
So-
Quite a few. I feel like there's some real consensus here that got established very early on that we were like, oh no, these are the ones.
Yep. MeganBob, who was your number 8?
Shocker. I don't care. Look, how bad can you fucking be? His new name is Hitachi. I'm keeping him on speed dial. And also, he's like, he doesn't have big ambitions. He's domestic. He's gonna think it's fun to like make me come in public and stuff. Like, he's not fancy either. It could be Taco Bell. He doesn't care. Is he a one-trick pony? The fuck I care, as long as the trick is that he makes me come so hard I almost pass out in the toothpaste aisle at Target. That's fine. If that's the trick, that's fine. You could do that trick forever.
Bob, I gotta say, after listening to as many episodes of Hard Choices as I have, you have really recontextualized Taco Bell and Target for me in a way that I was not anticipating.
Dan, I am an envy of the people.
Yeah.
Bob is just premiering Target's new tagline. Target, a place to come.
Yeah, listen, if they won't include queer content in Target, Bob will make sure there is queer content.
Create the queer content.
That's right. And James, who is your number 8?
My number 8 is May Parker.
Yes!
Hell yes.
May Parker fucks. This is whether you are looking at some of the film May Parkers, obviously Sam Raimi's series excluded, or you are looking at the comics in both the mainline Marvel universe and definitely in the Marvel Ultimate Universe. May Parker fucks. That plot that Dan talked about with May and J. Jonah Jameson's dad, like those two are fucking wildcats into each other. Yes. And again, it is, if you are sexually active as an older person, you are prioritizing it, you are being thoughtful and present about it, you are probably having really good sex. So that is decrepit 300-year-old comic book May. Hot, like, queer haircut, fucking, like, the May Parker that is featured in Spiderverse is Ultimate Comics May Parker. Definitely fucking, I don't know what it is, a little bit beyond cougar. That's where she's at. And my goodness, yes, she can fucking get it. She can get it.
Yep.
And then we come to Marissa Tomei. Holy shit. May Parker fucks. That's it. If you're doing it, it's good. It's better than you think it's going to be.
Yeah. All right, we are moving on to number 7s, and Annie dropped a bit of a bomb on us with Carnage at number 8. I'm going to drop a pumpkin bomb on us right now because my number 7 is the Green Goblin.
What?
So Norman Osborn is a nightmare as a romantic partner.
Okay,
and
right.
I shudder to even consider a sexual scenario with this guy in which he's more into you than you are into him. But in the Hard Choices arena of the two of you being into each other, I think he's not just good. I think he's good in 2 very different ways. So, original flavor, Norman Osborn has the appeal of, like, the cold, ambitious intellectual who sees fucking you as a way of, showing off his skill and his talents. And then the Green Goblin. Everyone, I would like for you to look up the cover to Amazing Spider-Man number 39.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I see.
Well, he's giving you that tits and ass shot. You can see everything.
He is. I mean, the idea of being tied up and flown above the streets of New York City.
Ooh.
Like, there is something to that is like, I did not know that was what I wanted. But when I was a kid, I saw this cover and something within me responded. So, this,
goodness.
This is now, okay, so all of this, obviously, very dependent on you being on this guy's wavelength, but if you're into the very specific things that he offers, he's offering a lot. So, all I'm gonna say.
Oh, new world.
Wait, okay. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to write it down for later.
Yeah.
Because this is
Do
a
it.
deep fucking well.
Do it. All right. In the meantime, Annie, who is your 7?
My 7 was Black Cat. Like, I am not immune to a femme fatale, and like, you know, I was thinking about this with the premise of, like, they're into you, you're into them. And, like, I cannot imagine what would get this Spider-Man fucker interested in me, because I don't have any cool powers or alter egos or anything, but honestly, it's a bit of a gift horse. Like, if someone like Felicia Hardy is interested in me, whether it's all on my own merits or because she's, like, seducing me to rob me, which is very likely, shit, I am okay with being used in this instance. Like, yes, ma'am, hot shit. Just please, please, please do not say that the bad luck powers means I screw up sex too badly with her. Just let me keep up as much as I can, because pretty lady, nice boopy, gay.
Bob, who is your number 7?
Vulture! That's
There it is.
My best Annie Craton. You do not know the pleasures of fucking someone petty. Oh, I mean, he wants to fuck over so many people, but he does want to fuck over the rich. Baby, me too. You go steal all the shit. I'm going to put all of it on. Let's see if we can get DNA evidence on all of it by the end of the night. If you have enemies, this is advice. If you have enemies, fuck at them. Like, yes, you fuck them, but also, like, with anybody else, fuck at them. I am telling you, stop fucking on defense and start fucking on offense.
Wow.
All right.
Powerful shit.
He's lucky to have you, Bob.
Petty people can fuck.
Yeah. James, who do you have at 7?
7 is Silver Sable. Someone who originally ranked a lot lower on this list because, you know, informed by the video game, she's essentially a cop. That's not great. So in the spirit of being fair to the character, I decided to revisit Marvelpedia, click around a little bit. And there I saw that she was trained from birth as a Nazi hunter. And all of a sudden, she jumps way, way up the list. Quite a bit. So this is, you know, a paramilitary type, a mercenary type. Normally, these are things that are unattractive. But when I know that violent, cold energy is being directed at eradicating the Nazi ideology, all of a sudden, I've come around quite a bit. And Silver Sable, you work so hard. Silver Sable.
Yeah.
You do so much for people. Let me do something for you. And then, of course, she grabs the back of my head, firmly but tenderly, and we both get to work.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's beautiful.
Excellent.
Wow,
All right.
that really does unlock a whole new level of Silver Sable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the hand that is holding you in place has killed some Nazis. That's pretty fucking good.
Ooh, that adds so much.
Mm-hmm. That's texture.
That brings us to number 6. Annie, who is your number 6?
It's Mary Jane. Like,
Okay.
All right. Here's, like, honestly, again, like, monster fucker, normal lady. But the thing is that, like, Mary Jane is a movie star, a supermodel, a Broadway actress. Occasionally she's Lois Lane. There's nothing Mary Jane Watson cannot do. And, like, you would think she would have all the trappings of a mean girl, but instead of cutting you down, she builds you up.
Yeah.
Mary Jane makes you feel like a star. Like, there is nothing you couldn't do. Like, that confidence and style is just like, it just comes off of her in waves and you absorb it. And, like, you want to believe her. Mary Jane is, like, the kind of top who gives you all of the praise and encouragement that fuels you into giving the best cunnilingus of your entire life. And honestly, the aftercare would probably involve a lot of praising you and telling you what a good job you did. And I'm here for that. I mean, like, she keeps up with a whole bunch of supervillain shit. She is not going to be phased. She's just going to tell you to do your goddamn best, and you're gonna because you want Mary Jane to be proud of you.
Aww.
I'm going to jump in here because my number 6 is also Mary Jane.
Hell yeah.
And, a fool might say that she's just skating by on her natural beauty and her sex appeal, but she's not going to bring a lot to the bedroom. But if you know the character, and Annie clearly knows the character, she is deeply empathetic and compassionate. Mm-hmm. She knows how to connect with people, but she's also enough of her own person that she's not afraid to assert her own wants. She knows how to have fun. Like, it is, to your point, Annie, a little weird to see a normal person do so well on this list of complete and total weirdos. But when you hit the jackpot, you hit the jackpot.
Mm. You have to face it.
MeganBob, if she called me Tiger. Anyway. All right.
You have to be a very good boy to be called Tiger.
You got to earn the tiger.
Yeah. MeganBob, you're number 6.
Black cat.
All right.
I totally see. So-and-so's going to be in town filming something. Who cares? Do you want to sneak into their room, fuck in their closet, and take a bunch of selfies wearing nothing but their jewelry? Baby, I'm putting that in the Google Calendar. I think she is one of the most unapologetically horny characters, and she genuinely enjoys herself. Sitting on my throne of dildos here in Hard Choices, respect for someone else out there living this horny on main life. But she's too much of a switch to go higher for me. But have some good scamp fucking, though. Get into some shenanigans.
All right. And James, you're number 6.
My number 6 is a begrudging Dr. Octopus. I did not want to put Otto Octavius this high on the list. I simply did not. But there is too much going for this character. There are a lot of people now who will make the argument that Otto Octavius is Spider-Man's arch nemesis. And enough has happened in the comics that I do think you can justify that claim. I don't want to give him this respect, but it's there. Also, the man himself, there is enough good moral fiber throughout that whole being. Like, Aunt May does not pick lovers lightly. And Otto is somebody, male or female, as we have learned from the Spiderverse films, is in the mix there. There's enough going for this person. Also, the arms. Let's talk about the arms. Because there are things, like even with like vanilla comics, the arms, like it's interesting. If you go to, he actually has Magneto powers in the Ultimate comics, there's even more. Ooh. But if we talk about the Sam Raimi films, where the arms kind of have a mind of their own, and their own little interests, all of a sudden this gets a lot wilder. Because then you're not just being dommed by Otto Octavius.
Oh my God.
And Otto Octavius are being dommed by the arms.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It's like a cold, calculated robot fuck, but there's also Molina there. And he's involved. And he can't help it because the arms are making him do it.
He can't help it. They're making him do it. Oh my God.
Also, it'd be so much fun to fucking dom. That's the other thing. Because he would be incensed about it. Dan's comment about him getting flustered if you throw him off his game, that's where you flip the switch on him and all of a sudden his plan is out the window and you're in control and he's not ready for it and you can see it reverberate throughout his entire being. I guess this was a big feels.
Yeah. Oh, James, you're so right. Oh man.
Boy.
I didn't think big enough. Man. All right.
Shit.
This is how you collect an audience like yours with insights like these. All right, we are moving on to our top 5s. Annie, who is your number 5?
My number 5 is the lizard. He's a monster and he's sad about it, you say? Sad me the fuck up. He's a sad monster. He's secretly sad. He's regular sad and he's a monster. Like, hi, just, bite me on the shoulder and work out all your aggression on me, doctor. I'll be there to tenderly love your human side and tame your wild monster side. I'm here for both of them.
Excellent.
Respect.
My number 5 is the Shocker. This guy is good enough with a vibrator that he can rob a bank with it.
Yep.
Just think of what he can do if he uses it for its intended purpose.
Yup.
James, your number 5.
My number 5 is, wow, I cannot believe they haven't shown up. Well, actually, I can't believe they haven't shown up on the list yet. It is Venom.
Hell yeah.
I have consumed erotica about our friend, the symbiote, before. There's a lot there to Venom. Venom, in, I think, its best incarnations, is treated as a metaphor for a toxic relationship that drags you to bad places. I think that the symbiote is something that if it is into you, it is automatically too into you. And that's not a great long-term situation, but the sex that you'll have, I think will be memorable. There's a lot that it can do. And unlike Carnage, it's soft and round. That is how it's drawn. So it will be a friendly version of those very intense scenarios. So yeah, we are Venom.
And Bob, your number 5.
Tombstone. I'm not going to top what you said because I had the exact same thought. I was like, this lives and dies on the gimmick of Big Scary Whisper Man. And I was like, it is not nothing for me, Big Scary Whisper Man saying, come. That's very powerful. But I also, no, I'm not going to go. Look, he's big and scary and he whispers. And the moment I saw that he whispers, I was like, baby, I'll be loud enough for both of us. Don't even fucking worry about it. Don't even worry about it.
All right, we are on to our number 4s, and I'm going to start this one off because my number 4 is a big feels. And it is Black Cat. Okay, listen. The fact that she's not number 1 on my list is a testament to how seriously I take the premise of this show. She is still quite high, however, and that's because she has something that very few other people on this list have, which is finesse and patience. She knows how to tease. I have never been more sympathetic to Spider-Man than in the moments in which he teams up with Black Cat. Because if I went out crime fighting with a woman who looked like Felicia Hardy, wearing a black leather catsuit, who constantly bent over suggestively and made frequent innuendos at me with that smirk and those heavy-lidded eyes, I would seriously consider changing the lower part of my outfit to, like, heavy denim jeans instead of form-fitting spandex. If Felicia is into you, then any time you spend with her outside the bedroom legally counts as foreplay.
Yeah.
And the only thing I would be thinking about is how much longer is this fight with Stiltman gonna take? So I can hang this dude from a lamppost and Felicia and I can find the nearest rooftop. James, your number 4.
My number 4, again, someone I am actually not surprised hasn't shown up yet, and that is Kraven the Hunter.
Oh, Kraven.
Kraven, if he cares about something, he's gonna do it as hard as possible. He would be, I think, a satisfying kind of textbook top. He's a very powerful man. He likes to be pushy and make demands. He also likes to wear prizes. I feel like that is a big part of it. Yeah. But if you're doming him, something that our friend Peter Parker frequently gets to do, his incensed rage. Like, you can feel it. You don't even need to be near him. You can be 30 feet away from him, standing on a lamppost as he just lets his screams reverberate against the windows of New York City. You know that you have beaten him, and he knows that there is nothing that he can do but what you say. Kraven Hunter's Just top tier fuck. Just a top
Yeah.
tier.
No one on this call will disagree with you, sir.
No, everybody ranked him higher.
Bob, you're number 4.
Dr. Octopus. He seems like he has a real, like, I forgot sex was a thing kind of nerd, but look, I got ADD. I recognize a fellow hyperfocuser whenever I see one. I think once he gets into it, out come the spreadsheets, charts, graphs, whiteboard.
Ooh, spreadsheet
full of
fuck.
ideas. So many things. I think when he gets into it, this is like all consuming for him because he's going to be like, shit, I forgot I had a dick. And it's like going to be like, that's the project now. The dream. I want to make him late for every Sinister Six meeting forever. For the rest of his fucking life. I want to be a problem for him. But like in a good way. I want to be a problem that he's like, everybody gives him shit about. And he's like, it's worth it. I like, yes, it fucking is. Look at this whiteboard. It's so full of ideas. No, he's great. I love him.
Bob, you just gave me the greatest mental image, which is like Doc Ock stumbles into the Sinister Six meeting late. Vulture glares at him and is like, you better have a good excuse for this, Otto. And he's just like, it was MeganBob. And everyone else in the Sinister Six is like, oh, yep. They just all nod knowingly.
I did fuck my way through that.
Yeah.
Otto's just the latest on the list. Annie, who is your number 4?
My number 4 is also Dr. Octopus.
Yes! Fourth place!
Yes! Like, on the one hand, like, bowl cut and unfortunate obsession with killing Spider-Man, but on the other hand, hands!
Yes!
So many hands! Do you know how hot it is when one person in a scenario is overwhelmed by so many different hands touching them everywhere? Hands to tease you, hands to dip into you, hands to restrain you. Hi, yes, please!
Yes.
That bowl cut, though. On the other hand, hands. Olivia Octavius. Liv. Call me.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Listen, no hands free. I'll keep him busy.
The wildest thing, and I just need to throw this out there, maybe I should leave this for unpacking things, but it feels like the female gender swap of Otto Octavius is less emotionally available.
Yeah,
You know
I
what?
agree. I totally agree.
That's a good point.
The
bowl cut actually helps.
I think because she has acknowledged that emotions are a thing and has compartmentalized it, whereas Otto like keeps forgetting that he's a normal
You're right.
human with
Every
emotions.
time he falls in love, he's so shocked to be in love.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't know he was shocked to fall in. Oh.
Yeah, there's a genuinely good romantic subplot he gets in the Superior Spider-Man series.
It's truly wonderful, and frankly, pretty much every depiction of the times that he hooks up with Aunt May are also he is in love with that woman.
Yep, he's a big ol' softie.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's great. We all love him, as this list is showing.
Hands. So many little grabby hands.
So many little hands. Hands.
All right, we're in the top 3, y'all. James, who is your number 3?
Face it, listeners, you've hit the jackpot. It's Mary Jane Watson.
Yeah.
Normal lady, whatever. Here's the thing about MJ. MJ, as we have pointed out, is someone who builds you up, who makes her personality about building people up. She is the cool girl. It doesn't matter what you picture in terms of age for that. She is the cool version of a lady in that circumstance. And she wants you to feel as good about yourself as she feels about herself. The other thing about her is she can back up that confidence. Everything that she says is accurate. When she says Peter's hit the jackpot, she's fucking right. She's not just someone who looks good. She is someone who cares. The reason that MJ is Peter Parker's like true love across time and space is she is willing to see him for what he is. He is somebody who is, in everyone's estimation, a fuck up. But she keeps coming back to him. She keeps seeing him for who he truly is, even when he cannot share the truth with her. MJ, if she is into you, will see you. She will make parts of you that you have never wanted to show to another person feel embraced. And she's going to do that. She's going to do that with her whole being. And my goodness, what a package.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
And those
Bob,
titties.
Who do you have at number 3?
Venom. Venom is like the dream threesome. Because you get, I feel like Eddie Brock, there's a certain amount of wow boobs. And then you get like this alien predator. You get all the saliva all over your titties. You get teeth against your throat. And then you get this like guy who's been trying to hold it together going like, oh, thank fuck, I don't have to hold it together all the time. He just feels like somebody who's constantly going, life is very hard. And I would like for one thing to just not be as difficult all the time, please. And to just be the person who's like, you know what, baby, it's fine. Like, whatever. It's like, just be yourself and I will embrace it, whatever it is. That's so wonderful. Because then you just get him being himself or themselves, whatever it is. And also, so many goddamn sharp teeth. So many sharp little teeth. And he's soft and squishy.
Yeah.
Annie, who do you have at number 3?
My number 3 is Spider-Man / Peter Parker. Like, look, here's the thing. None of us have asked the black cat question here, which is, am I fucking the huge dweeb with a lot of insecurity, Peter Parker? Or am I fucking the snarky webhead Spider-Man who uses humor as a deflection tactic? Because Peter Parker, like, if he lets you into his world, this is a guy who would probably be one of the most sincere lovers you're likely to find. He's kind of got a Garrus Vicarian thing going on where he just wants something to go right just once, and he will try his hardest. And then he will push you away afterwards because this is his gift, this is his curse, and let's be real. If it works out for you, the best case scenario here is the higher-ups are going to demand a world-shattering event comic that rewrites your existence anyway, or hooks you up with a guy named Paul, or throws you off a bridge. But Spider-Man is the fun fuck. There are no strings attached, only webs, and oh, the webs. Finally, a sticky fluid to get covered in that doesn't make me uncomfortable. He's snarky, he's got an amazing ass, and maybe he'll invite over his friend with benefits, the Human Torch. There are no downsides to fucking Spider-Man.
All right. There's been a lot of sincerity for everyone's number 3s. My number 3 is Mysterio.
Hell yeah!
Dan out here repping illusions and lies. Go on.
Look, man, I am nothing if not consistent to the vision of this show. So he's one of those comic book supervillains where like being seen as intelligent and clever is really important to him, and I think that is going to carry over into sex. And my suggestion is to let him show off. You know, his track record when it comes to using his illusions to commit crimes or fight superheroes is not great. But I think he has it within him to craft a spectacular phantasmagoric landscape directed to your sexual gratification. And frankly, that is not something that very many people can offer. And I'm willing to let him have a shot at it.
I mean, you're unlikely to get a yeasty, so your odds are much better.
How are you going to suck dick through that fishbowl? How are you going to suck dick through that fishbowl?
You saying he's got a fishbowl in his groin?
Oh my...
That's actually really fucking funny and bumps him up a little bit on the list if he takes off his pants and there's a little fishbowl with a cape just swanging around down there.
Yes! Oh my god, 100%.
All right, that was our number 3s. So now we're up to our number 2s. Bob, who's your number 2?
Rhino!
All right.
Dream whimsical fuck. I know you're all going like, what the fuck are you trying? He's a dope. He doesn't have asshole delusions of grandeur. If I want to get high, walk to the grocery store for ice cream and make out on the fire escape. He's going to be so down with all of that. He's going to be the one who reminds me, like, hey, babe, we need both kinds of Cheetos. And we should probably get some grocery store sushi for later because it's hot and eating sushi naked is fun. He's going to consider all of that, like, perfectly acceptable foreplay. Or intermission play, whatever. He's a dreamboat. He's going to get all of that and still be able to, like, go from that mode to pounding in an instant. He needs, like, that is enough for him. He's perfect. Also, I bet he wouldn't even make me get into the grocery cart. He would lift me up like a princess and put me in the grocery cart, and then I would just get to hold the Cheetos.
Oh my god!
I like your stoner boyfriend Rhino interpretation.
I think it's probably very good for me.
With both kinds of Cheetos.
I know there's a lot. This is Cheeto erasure. There's a lot of different kinds of Cheetos.
No, that's the beautiful thing. He's stupid.
Yeah, they only get the 2 kinds in Russia, so those are the only 2 kinds he knows.
If y'all have not tried the like esquites, the elotes Cheetos.
Oh, the elotes Cheetos.
That's a fine Cheeto.
Those are legit.
All right, Annie, you're number 2.
Okay, so I went back and forth on my number 1 and 2 like for a while, and I'm just gonna have to put this down and let it settle. My number 2 is Venom. Like, just call up Eminem to come and rap at me. It's Venom, Venom, Venom. Like, are you kidding me? The one with 2 movies about being a queer monster fuck relationship?
Yeah.
Like, yes, I will be the 3rd member of this little goopy polycule. Like, the thing about Venom is that you're getting both a symbiote who, like, basically his default mode is long-term relationship, and you get a fucked up buff dude who may or may not be an extremely sweaty Tom Hardy. And like, I'm sorry, but I am but a simple bitch with a vagina, tongue, tongue,
Yeah.
Important consideration.
tongue,
All
and
right.
so many pointy teeth, so many
know.
pointy teeth,
And
just the most tongue in the world.
yeah,
Venom is like every positive thing about fucking Spider-Man and Carnage, but also it's a big goo monster who can embrace and stimulate every single part of your body, and also loves having a big pointy tooth and tongue. And on top of all that, you've got Eddie Brock, who is basically there being like the number 2 here. He's gonna do everything that requires a hard, muscular body to go along with the slippery symbiote. I am that bitch. Yes, please.
My number 2 is Kraven the Hunter. On the one hand, you have the obvious animalistic side, you know, the intensity, the savagery, but he's also very patient. You know, he studies his prey. He waits for the right moment. He knows when to play it cool. He knows when to cut loose. Do you want to fuck on a bear or tiger skin rug? Buddy, there is not an inch of the Kravenoff family manor that is not covered in at least 2 types of animal fur. And just as we know that he collects trophies and weapons from around the world, he has a finely curated set of sex toys and paraphernalia put together over the course of his travels. And listen, if all that's not enough, just have him call up his ex Calypso over and see if she wants to get in on the fun, because I know I do. James, you're number 2.
My number 2 is Black Cat. And what can you say about Black Cat that hasn't already been said on this podcast? It's this. You're having a wonderful time with Black Cat. And she leans down to whisper in your ear and says, "Oh, you're about to come? Well, bad luck, because I'm not done yet." She will use her bad luck powers to edge you in an agonizing marathon that will be wonderful for her, but exquisite for you.
Oh my gosh.
It's Black Cat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
fuck.
Ugh.
I hadn't thought about the bad luck chick working in my favor. Oh boy.
I haven't
Also-
been sweating like this since the Justice League episode.
I know. I was
This
going
one
to say
is
the last
intense.
time we sweated this hard was the JLA. Also, she can do like a ruined orgasm so perfectly.
Yeah, bud.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
she's like
bud.
time it to perfection. She's like, oh, that's so sad for you.
Really, only flaw is that she's like too much of a coward to be emotionally available. But
Yes.
Spider-Man, in the Spider-Man universe, like the ultimate version of existing is having a polycule. So like,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah,
get that fulfilled in other places.
Yeah, for sure. All right, this is it, everyone. Our number one,
Oh,
the Zenith.
Fuck.
Annie, who's at the top of your list?
It's Kraven the Hunter, baby.
Yes!
Oh, obviously. God, yes. Hello.
Yes.
Beefy
yes.
giant man who is super duper hot, has an absurd amount of money that he spends on his stupid hobby. And he wears that vest all the time. It's called fashion. Look it up. Like, I will be prey for this man. I want to be hunted and pursued and studied. I want this man to catch me and then conquer me. Like, this is a dude who will stalk towards you with his chin dipped and his eyes burning. There is, like, it is Smolder City, my dudes. There is no scenario in which this man will not, capital R, ravish you. Like, he is a walking romance novel clench cover. He exclusively ravishes. This dude has never had sex in a way that does not leave his partners breathless and witless and so thoroughly fucked that they cannot remember their own names. And God, I want that for me. And also maybe I can borrow some of his clothes because, man.
I know. Look, Annie, same.
Say more about that. In the least surprising ranking I think the show has ever seen.
Was this the one that you no-scoped me on? You were like, oh, of course. Okay.
As soon as I proposed this episode, I was like, and Kraven's gonna be Bob's number one.
So I was in middle school, and the most dangerous game is low-key one of the first erotic short stories I ever read. I don't think I was alone in this. Whenever I was like, oh, pursued like an animal? And I was like, I don't think this should end with like being killed. I think this should be a fuck story. This should be a fuck story. And it's not like I want to be fucked like by the person who catches me. This is some law of the goddamn jungle shit. And I hate cardio. Let's be very fucking clear. I hate cardio. But you promised Jaws on my throat. Out come the goddamn yoga pants. The yoga pants that I will have to constantly replace because Annie, he doesn't take the clothes off you. He cuts the clothes off of you with one of his many knives.
Oh my God,
You have to clothe yourself with but the shreds that you have left whenever you are done. Wherever it was that you got fucked by this beautiful, perfect. My mouth, I'm like salivating.
No, Bob,
this amazing man. Yes, go on.
He lets you wear the vest.
That's what I was
drapes
thinking.
over you.
Oh my God, you are walking through Central Park like
yeah.
That is the aftercare as you get to wear the vest for sure.
Yeah, oh my God, because there's doms on this list. But there are not that many people on this list who can trigger the little like rabbit heartbeat. Sometimes you got to be prey, and Kraven will give you that. I'm like, he's so good.
Whew.
I know.
So, on that note, my number one is Venom. And,
all right.
I mean, pre-symbiote Eddie Brock would do very poorly on my list. Like, generic bodybuilding guy who's so overconfident he doesn't do proper journalistic fact-checking on his sources. But here and now, where he spent years bonding with an alien goop monster, I mean, we've run over many of the possibilities, but I'm going to go over some more.
Yeah!
We're talking shadowy sex in a giant black web in an abandoned warehouse.
Ooh.
Yes. You can have Eddie fucking you while the symbiote slithers all over you, and the two of them are so connected that everything they do will be perfectly synchronized to maximize the pleasure and the intensity. You can have the symbiote cover both you and Eddie at the same time and like transfer the impulses and the feelings that all of you are experiencing at the same
Holy
time.
shit.
You're drifting.
You're drift compatible. Fuck.
Until each of you have triple orgasms at the same time.
Wow.
Like, break down the walls that separate us, symbiote. I wasn't using them anyway. And that brings us to James. Who was your number one, sir?
James.
Big feels.
Yeah.
Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Okay.
There is a mythical sexual cryptid that people speak of. A man who does not own a bed frame, but is the best sex of your life. There are many attempts to cast this man as a himbo with no capacity for substantive intimacy. He's someone you would fuck but never marry or even truly know. And to me, this is a half-understood distortion of the truth. It's a myth that people created to help themselves feel like they are capable of truly life-changing connections without being seen or touched. Oof. It's a myth because if this man exists, he is Peter Parker. He doesn't own that bed frame because he can not afford it. And he probably had it at one point, but he broke it through sexual misadventure.
I know.
For me, Peter Parker is perhaps the best imaginable fictional lover. However, I feel that by any reasonable metric, he is a top-tier lay. In for a one-night stand, I submit to evidence Felicia Hardy, who has fucking options. But she keeps coming back for that spectacular spider dick. Looking for a man who will love you for your whole life? MJ has been through some truly wild things and lived the kind of life where she could be with any number of truly wonderful people. But those roads always lead back to Peter Parker. Now, if you want a sub, Peter Parker is a man who continually, willingly submits himself to ordeals. The man can take a beating. And one of his lesser known, and I would say especially in this ranking, underappreciated powers, is accelerated healing. And it's not Wolverine style he heals instantly. You could mark him up and really enjoy your work. But he would be good to go again as a fresh canvas in a day or two. Now, if you're looking for a dom, this is a man who spends his days humiliating his opponents and subjecting them to wild and varied improvised bondage. He is there with a cutting remark, and he is there to tie you up in a way that you never thought you could be tied up. And of course, because it is Peter Parker, it is always loose enough for you to feel comfortable. He can also lift a truck. This man could toss you around like you were nothing. Like you were his toy. Does he run late, miss appointments, and keep a life that is really a slow-moving train wreck? Yes, of course. But that's because he is deeply earnest and noble. He is committed to the well-being of everyone around him, and especially the people that he loves. If he gives you his heart, his body, he will do that on a level that few people are capable of. He is a man of amazing power, and some of it is gained through a radioactive spider bite. Some of it is cultivated through a lifetime of perseverance over tragedy and committing to being a good man, no matter what. Rest assured that you can count on him to use that power responsibly. And I mean that in the horniest way possible.
Glad I had you go last. That was terrific.
Yeah.
That was a journey.
What a love letter.
Spider-Man!
Well, all the data is in. The list is here, but it appears to be covered in, let's say, webbing. I'm gonna start trying to clean this up. While I do that, why don't we move on over into let's unpack that.
Dan,
Yes.
sand or cold? Which of these is worse for you? Because you are very on record as saying cold is... How low did you rank Sub-Zero? I think Sub-Zero was your 21, wasn't he?
Yeah, I ranked both Sub-Zero in the Mortal Kombat episode and Lord Soth in the Dragonlance episode, both at number 21 because they had cold hands and feet.
Sure.
So, yeah, boy. You know what? I'm going to say sand is below cold. Wow.
Sand sticks with you.
Yeah,
It does. Yeah, that's
You
exactly
not
it.
get rid of the sand.
Yeah,
Okay.
like at the very least, I'm not going to like get a friction burn from someone who's cold, you know? Whereas
True.
like I was just like thinking about different kinds of sand and I'm like, no, none of that sounds good. Like
Yeah.
fine-grained, coarse-grained, none of it.
You know
none
what?
of it is good.
You know what? Maybe Anakin Skywalker was onto something.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You know, he made some points. He made some good points.
He tried to fuck a sand dune on Tatooine and it did not go well. Okay, so Annie brought up the fact that you're not interested in having Silver Sable bring a bunch of mooks in.
No.
Goons.
My question to you is,
Goons.
Yes.
It is goons.
given the villains that we have on this list, which one do you feel like would bring the best goons to sex? Like, which ones would you most want to have join you?
Who's got the
That's
best
harsh,
minions?
right? Because so
Yeah.
many of these guys are independent agents.
Right.
Oh, who has the best hired goons? I mean, Norman would hire a lot of goons, but I just don't think he would, I don't think he'd invest in goons.
Mm-hmm. My pick might be Dr. Octopus,
Okay.
because I think his goons are probably robots.
Ooh, that's scary to me.
Sure, yeah.
And that's at least interesting. The alternative would maybe be Carnage, because his goons tend to be other symbiotes.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, Venom,
You know?
it's like a little...
Yeah.
It's kind,
version
of,
of
a
him.
clique. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be. I think I'm actually gonna pick Carnage.
I mean, if we're talking about the best goons, and this might be a little bit of a cop-out because it was actually Miguel O'Hara who did this, but it's Spider-Man because it's the other Spider-Man from different universes.
yeah,
who come in.
or like the Avengers or the Fantastic Four or whichever team he's joined this week.
Actually, that drags him down. If fucking Mr. Fantastic is one of his goons, I don't want any part of it.
Quick point of order. How do we properly pluralize that? Is it Spider-Men? Spider-Man?
Spiders-Man?
Spiders-Men? Because I go for internal pluralization every time. I think it's
Well,
Spiders-Men.
The problem is there's a character named Spiders-Man.
Yeah,
You're
that's true.
right. Yeah, and he is a
And
big
I feel
pile
like-
of spiders. And
Yeah,
all.
I feel like
okay.
you're inviting confusion there. So
That's a good point.
yeah. Although Spiders-Men,
Yeah, Spiders-Men.
Spiders-Man.
Yeah.
But not all of them are men, too, so it's difficult.
Spiders persons?
Folk.
Spiders folk is
Wait,
good.
here,
Yeah.
spiders, y'all.
There it
Spiders,
is.
y'all.
Spidersians.
I mean, geographically, that does place us closer to New York than y'all territory.
It's
True.
true. It's true.
Mhm.
Spider,
And
You know
these
what?
Spiders-Mans needs fucked.
Truer words. Truer words have never been spoken.
I feel like Tombstone's going to bring ones that really scare me.
Oh
and
yeah,
that-
he's gonna just have
Yeah.
some straight up gangsters.
And
yeah,
I'm like,
he's just
Yeah.
got criminals.
kind of going, okay, like that's not the worst thing. I
Yeah.
mean, it's the worst thing, but it's not the worst thing. Yeah.
I mean, if we're going with like a broad definition of goons, May Parker would probably bring her whole bridge club.
Oh shit. Her bridge club who just fucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her like superhero fucking bridge club.
Yeah, okay,
Oh,
that's
shit.
that's getting a little too appealing. I feel.
Do we need to move on?
I was going to bring up J. Jonah Jameson because when we
I was
think about
thinking
it, that's
about that.
just a journalism intern. you know?
Yeah.
That's
Just
like
his employees.
that's a nervous photographer a la Peter Parker. That's like a really eager reporter who wants a byline. Like,
Yeah.
that's just a feast of subs.
Yes,
Yeah.
and do you know what that is? That is the plot of the Spider-Man ride at Islands of Adventure in Universal Studios. That's what that plot is. That's exactly it is J. Jonah Jameson packing a van full of 16 interns and sending them careening into the Sinister Six to get the scoop.
Oh, that's
my
terrific.
fucking God.
Oh, it's like my favorite thing. That's like one of my favorite rides.
Amazing. Now, James, I think you mentioned the only person that Jameson would have good sex with is Spider-Man.
Yeah, I truly do believe this.
What do you think about, like, you doing some role play with him as Spider-Man? You know, like you coming home in a Spider-Man costume and kind of letting him, you know, providing a little bit of an outlet for him there.
The only way it works is if he actually believes it's Spider-Man. That's the problem.
It's that Paul F. Tompkins B sketch that your B stand-up that you sent me.
He just, if it's Spider-Man, you know, his top energy comes out because he's gloating the entire time. This is his victory, you know. And again, his anger is like the most sexual part of him, right?
Yeah,
And
it is.
as a sub to be like tied up and humiliated by Spider-Man, like you're not getting a better version of that anger because he would be so into it. No one could be more like shakingly mad that he has an erection than J. Jonah Jameson. In that moment, it's good. It's the best he can do sexually, but really, he has to think you're Spider-Man.
So you don't think he can even like put himself in that mindset? You think he has to? He has to like
He's a
believe it down to his
journalist.
bones.
He comes by that rage honestly.
Yeah, he would start and then trail off thinking about actual ways that he could prove that Spider-Man is a threat and or menace.
Bob, I have a question. The Harry Osborn fuck, Bob. What anime was on TV?
I'll be honest, I was not thinking about the anime at the time. I was going, what the fuck is happening right
It's Madoka Magica, because he thinks it's really deep.
Which, the original or one of the
I will say,
sequels?
let me see if I can put a timestamp on this. This would have been, I think I would have been sophomore, so it would have been 2006.
Oh, was that when Haruhi Suzumiya was on?
Oh.
Because that's a pretentious dude fuck.
It
He knows all of Hare Hare Yukai.
Okay, James, Electro, you were now. I'm a big fan of a violet wand. I love all that shit. They have the new one, the attachment where you can be the violet wand, the whole thing.
Ooh.
It's beautiful. I am
Well, then
one
we
of the
don't need
things.
Electro anymore.
I know exactly, but they stress in the warning on all of those electricity playthings. They're like, do not get this near any part of you that is moist. Don't do that because electricity. And I was like, does that lower the value of this? Or are you just kind of like, well, this is all going to be like preamble and then we'll just be extremely careful and not, and just go like, all right, don't turn it off for that part.
Philosophically, we were in the Marvel universe here, which means physics only matters so much.
Oh, the dream.
I think you only get the best parts of that. It's just
All right, yeah, I'm fucking him then.
Max Dillon is a human purple wand that you can do what you want with because he's a big fucking dummy.
They don't, they don't put that in the fucking, like, instructions. They're like, no, this is a real electricity.
Find a
Because
comic book
they're
idiot.
not fun. They don't get what fun is.
So, James, you painted a very negative picture of my boy the Shocker.
Yeah.
Going through various, various slapstick shticks.
I did.
Only
because he
to end
earned
up.
it.
I'm not arguing with you there.
Sure.
Only he ends up hanging from a lamppost in a spiderweb. My question to you is, now that he is subdued, if he's still horny, do you turn this into a sex swing sort of thing before the police get there? Or are you just done? Like, is there a silver lining here once physical mobility is removed from his control?
Here's the problem with the Shocker. It's that, like, the only thing he can only be a sub. If he tried to be a dom, he would again trip and break his penis or something. So he can only be a sub. And, you know, he does have that same sort of Otto Octavius, like, indignant, if taunted energy, which is good. That is a good thing in a sub. The problem is all of the things that I would be saying to him would be true. And therefore, I would feel bad about saying them.
Yeah.
The aftercare that I would need, because I know I have just told off this pathetic man, he would not be able to provide because he's pathetic.
Ooh, yeah.
It's just not good. It's just not good.
You're right. All right.
I have a poll for sort of the table here. Now, we're mostly talking about, we've talked about Rhino largely within the context of just sort of like the animal suit version. Does it change anyone's ratings if we consider the one where he's basically just like in a mech suit and like that's
the Paul Giamatti.
Wait, that was Paul Giamatti?
Paul Giamatti.
In the second Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie.
He's the Rhino.
I'm one
you
of
know the Rhino?
Right
Man from
now.
Sideways?
Yeah, I love... No, James, I have a history with Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti, who had his soul removed? Yeah. Paul Giamatti's the Rhino.
The saddest man in the universe?
Decision.
No, I am 10,000 times more into this now. I'm like, Harvey Picar, the Rhino? Yes.
He's the dirtiest, hairiest, oldest man who is the protagonist of a mech anime.
Yes.
I don't know. Part of me is just attached to a extremely strong, powerful man who's fused inside of a suit that won't let him come. That's pretty great. And it's hard to top that. I do like Paul Giamatti, and I do think the idea of people like treating him as a sex object is funny. And you know that's why I listen to Hard Choices, because I can hear the opinions of MeganBob.
I've been trying to fuck that sad man for almost a decade now.
I don't know. I feel like the obstacle of just normal suit Rhino is kind of part of the appeal for me. Like the being like, let's try to make this work. You know, like let's see what we can do given these conditions. If you're talking to a dude in a mech suit and he can just like get out of it and he's a normal dude, it's like, I'm sure he's fine, but like but it's not compelling anymore. You know, like it's not interesting. That's where I'm at.
What if though he's like a toddler in terms of his relationship to the suit, and is like, oh, I could take it off, but I'm just not gonna. Like, I don't want to take. I live in this, and I am this now. And you're like, okay,
this
but
is
you
me.
do. Yeah, this is me. I'm a dinosaur.
Paul Giamatti, but he can't get an erection unless he's in a big robot rhinoceros suit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, now you want that grocery store sushi with Paul Giamatti.
So, James, that last sentence you just said sounds like it came from like a late edition version of Cards Against Humanity.
Okay.
The deepest insult that I'll ever hear in my life.
Okay. I don't remember. I just have Dan, do you just want to be Spider-Man and get fucked by Green Goblin? Is that what you're proposing? Is the Green Goblin fantasy that the closest you could get to being Spider-Man because you wouldn't dare to imagine being Spider-Man, but you want to be Spider-Man?
Oh no, I have envisioned myself being Spider-Man in virtually every circumstance. Like the idea of a guy who gets power that is way above what he is capable of, like, understanding or dealing with. And then, like, having to go on this very long journey where he tries to live up to this, to this, like, mantle that he has been given.
Yeah.
But he's still just a normal-ass guy who has to deal with everything that he had to deal with before and now all this stuff. Like, I can so easily put myself in that situation. It's like, I can't put myself in the situation of, like, of a Steve Rogers who is,
fuck no.
deeply, implacably morally correct at all times, who, like, always knows the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And his whole struggle is getting other people to see that. It's like, I've never been that confident in my entire life, But no, like, being kidnapped by Green Goblin, I could see myself in that situation. I could see myself in any conceivable Spider-Man situation. Like, if tomorrow I woke up and I was on Battle World and the Beyonder was like, hey, guess what? You have to kill all these supervillains in order to get home. I'd be like, yeah, I guess, man. That sounds about right.
I don't kill people, but all right. We'll see how this fucking goes for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spider-Man.
Oh, no, I ripped my shirt. I guess I need a goo husband now.
One of the beautiful things about it, because I was talking about the fact that I would be doing this episode of Hard Choices to a bunch of different friends on the way in. And, Spider-Man is, for me, this quintessential character of, like, do you want to fuck this character or do you want to be this character? And the answer is both in all times. That there's something beautiful about the fact that Spider-Man fucks up, but he's fundamentally worthy of the effort that it takes to forgive him. Like, that makes him so relatable. I was telling my friend that I was going to be on this, and I was like, to me, Spider-Man is this bisexual, like, person who the comics should allow him to be polyamorous and all of these things. Because here's the thing, Marvel editorial board, it makes his life more complicated. And he'll think he's solving a lot of problems, but he's actually, now every romance is possible at all times, and that's actually wonderful for the comics. Please
he's
give us that.
He's gonna miss so many appointments.
Now he can date all of the people that he's in all of those different books with.
And my friend to me said, oh, but Spider-Man is trans. Spider-Man is transmasculine. And I was like, that is the beautiful thing about this character, is that the thing that you want embraced in yourself, or you want to be cool or powerful about yourself, is a thing that is true about Spider-Man. Like,
anyone can wear the mask.
Anyone can wear that mask.
Yeah.
And the fact that person is the most powerful sexual being in all of fiction is telling. The best version of you is also incredibly hot and sexually powerful.
I think that's what happens when you create a character whose flaws and vulnerabilities are so front and center in the way in which that they're portrayed. Because, like, everyone has screwed up, right? It's like everyone has been that person who has disappointed someone else or let someone else down or, like, made a huge mistake that they should have seen coming, that they should have known better. And to that extent, like, you can paint any identity onto Spider-Man and it fits, right? It works. And it's because they start from that position of, no, this character is, like, very imperfect, but wants to be better. And it's like, yeah, we can all relate to that. That's a thing that's universal to everyone.
Tell my life story. Yeah.
He's a good arachnid.
He is.
He's a nice young man.
He's a nice young man. Unlike
I don't care what that nasty J. Jonah Jameson says. I think he's a good boy.
This is just a personal, like, for my own records, because I was looking at these characters going, should I be ranking any of them higher? Is anybody here going to respond well to some really just unapologetic bratting? Anybody on this list going to, like, really reward me in a way that's going to be fun?
What would be fun to you?
Yeah.
Like, what would be the ideal response?
I'm running through them in my mind, and they're all giving you great options here, Bob.
There's a
what
lot
story
of
do you need me to
supervillains
tell?
on here. Yeah.
Definitely. I think annoyed, but gives in every goddamn time. I mean, not every
Fucking
time.
Otto
'cause-
Octavius.
Yeah,
okay,
I
okay.
think you
That's what
already
I thought.
called that one.
Okay, all right.
You know
good.
what? When I think about it, James, you said that Spider-Man ends up doming all of these people. I think he also ends up bratting all of these people
Yeah,
on
he
the way.
does.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
dude.
Spider-Man is such
Yeah.
a brat.
Yeah.
He's the brattiest top.
He's the
So-
snarky little bitch.
Yeah.
He's the brat who flips the switch and none of them can
Ooh.
do anything about it. Like
Yeah.
there's just a certain point, like they're in control for a while and he's bratting them to get them to go harder. And then bam,
Ooh.
he's out of the fucking trap and now they're tied up. And it's just,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
beautiful.
you've got it.
It's
You've got it.
beautiful.
Really
So in answer
beautiful.
to your question, Bob, anyone.
Yeah.
Take
Okay.
your pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone can get you the experience you want here.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
They're all into it.
Fertile,
Mhm.
fertile grounds. I shall do well here.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, with that, let's move on and see what this final list looks like.
Yeah, I'm very curious.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
At the bottom of the list, our number 21 is Harold Osborn.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He deserves that.
Oh, that's
Yep.
right. Because Annie. Okay, you know what? It's okay.
Annie
I-
ranked him the highest at number 16.
No, no.
Everyone else is lower.
I thought Carnage was going to be 21, but I remember that Annie
There
came
was a
out
high.
and was like,
Sorry.
"Oh,
There
no,
was
no,
an
no,
outlier who should not have been counted.
It's
no.
me, Carnage is Georg.
As a fellow Spiders George, respect.
Next up at number 20 is Sandman.
Okay.
Yeast
And-
Infections. Yeasties.
Yeah, Anakin Skywalker. And
So
then
it can't help.
He's not cranberry pills, man.
that's right. Next at number 19 is Carnage. Thank you,
Okay.
Annie.
Yeah, I mean, he does belong towards the bottom. That's fair.
Yeah.
But he's
I would
not
say
going to
more
give you a
than
yeast
towards.
infection.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
we don't fucking know. We
He's
don't
gonna give you
fucking
something.
know.
But we
Yeah.
know for sure about sand, and the
Yeah.
certainty is important.
Next up at number 18, we have the Green Goblin.
Okay.
In a tie for number 17 is Electro and J. Jonah Jameson.
Yep.
I
What
was
a
going to
pair.
laugh so hard if it was
What a
Electro
pair.
and Shocker.
Fuck.
I know.
That would be great. At number 15, we have the Vulture.
Yeah.
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 Number 14, I really hate how ageist this list is, but number 14 is May Parker.
I tried.
That's the way it is, man. That's the way
I
it is.
tried.
Number 13 is Ben Riley.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's unlucky.
We have a three-way tie for number 12.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
It is Silver Sable,
Oh.
the Lizard, and the Shocker.
Ooh.
Okay.
You know
Yeah.
what? I believe in her to make this work.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's all on Silver.
I mean, she's had to work with worse groups of people that she's needed to wrangle. So yeah, I could see
She
it.
just needs some, like, pet subs. To
Hey, she's
just,
got
you
all
know.
those goons.
I would absolutely read a romance story about Silver Sable taking on the Shocker as a pet, like as
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
submissive pet.
Yeah,
It
totally.
would be it would be pretty hot, but also extremely cute.
I know.
I'm into that.
constant truths.
I really-
flowing from this list tonight.
You know what? I
Yeah.
undersold the Shocker because I did not think of his potential as a pet.
Yeah.
And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, the slapstick misfortune that's kind of embedded in him actually
Oh
works
my
really
God.
well
He
if
would
he's
be
a
so
troublesome
cute.
pet.
Pet
Yeah.
play. He would be so cute.
Starts to taste a little different when you look at it from that
Yeah.
angle. All right, we have another tie for number 9. It is a tie between Mysterio and Tombstone.
Ooh.
And
What
Oh,
a pair.
Tombstone is going to destroy Mysterio.
If you
now
can
that's a
find him.
good.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh
That's
my
true.
God. This is, I want to fuck this odd couple situation.
Yeah,
I
that's
want
a
to
cat
be
and mouse.
in the middle of this, like Felix and Oscar.
These
this
two
is
sharing a jail cell is
Oh, yes.
the
Oh, man.
hatred. Oh,
That sucks so bad. I love it. All right. Next up, number 7, old Polly G himself, the Rhino.
Yeah.
All right.
At number 6 is Spider-Man, Peter Parker. At number
Should be
5, we have
ashamed.
Mary Jane Watson.
Oh, Mary
At least
Jane.
they're together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At number 4 is Dr. Octopus.
Oh, yeah!
Yay!
Four
arms.
It was made to be. Number 3. I mean, she should really be at number 13, but number 3 is Black Cat. At number 2, we have the dynamic duo Venom.
Yeah.
The lethal protector.
And surprising no one, our number 1 is Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah! Vindication!
There we go. There we go.
All right. So
Yeah.
that means our median is going to be somewhere in the Lizard, Shocker, Silver Sable triad that we have floating around here.
I love it.
Right.
So both Lizard and Shocker have a high of 5 and a low of 17.
Ooh, that's a big spread.
But Silver Sable has a high of 7 and a low of 16. That means her extremes are closer together. That means our true median is Silver Sable.
wow.
Given
That's
her
kind
color
of-
scheme, I feel like that's appropriate.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
the silver medal.
She is
Yeah.
here to get the job done, you know?
Yeah.
That's
Efficient.
what she came here to do. Well, now that we know the final shape of the list, next we just have to rank the overall fuckability of Spider-Man's corner of the Marvel Universe on a scale from 1 to 10 boners.
I'm feeling like a 7. Because
Okay.
there's some big no's in there, but the yeses are chef kiss.
Mm-hmm.
The yeses are very, very big yeses.
Yeah. I think I'm going to have to go with an 8 on this. I think my no starts around the Vulture, who's a 17 on my list. And, like, admittedly above him, a lot of those are, like, kind of maybes. But, like, there is no one on this list who I think is boring. Like,
Good point.
every single person brings something weird and dynamic and pretty unique to the table. And that's got to count for something.
Except
I
for
love
Harry
that-
Osborn, yeah.
Except, I mean, he's
yeah, Harry.
uniquely sad, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
I love that Hard Choices has changed you, so you're like, everybody on this list brings something interesting.
Yeah.
And rather than like good. You're just like,
Yeah.
you know, never gonna have a boring fuck.
Yeah.
Don't even have to survive them all. Like, good for
Yeah.
you, Dan.
Like, I'd rather have good than interesting, but I'd rather have interesting than boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
This is
Oh,
why
yeah.
sometimes we rank people like lower who are boring and higher who will kill us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like how the worst thing a movie can do is bore you.
Yeah.
Yes, totally. James, Bob, what are y'all thinking?
Well, this process has made me reassess my nose. You know, originally my nose started at Tombstone because, you know, I'd play around with the Rhino, but again, seeing the Tombstone as essentially like a worse version of Rhino, it's like, well, that's where nose start. But, you know, you have like, okay, I'm not really into the daddy thing, but Tombstone is the one person who can pull it off. And below that, you have the incompetent pet boy Shocker. Like, okay, there are a lot of yeses here. And the yeses, like the good yeses, oh, they're heavy yeses. So, you know, for me, unsurprisingly to anyone, it's 10 out of 10. Absolutely.
Oh, shit.
Perfect. Like, there are some no's in there, but like, fucking the light of the sun blinds them out, and the sun is Peter Parker, who will
I thought it
tremble
was- I
as
thought
I
it was-
remove his mask.
I thought it was his boyfriend, the Human Torch, just burning with love up in the sky.
Yeah. Let me tell you about my polycule.
Yeah.
I gotta know more about this. Put a pin in that. I
High
need to know more
fives
about
are
it.
immaculate, Bob.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta say, every time I open up a new Spider-Man comic and they haven't made Peter Parker bisexual, I get a little angrier. I'm
It's
just like, come on,
ridiculous.
guys.
What
Come
they're
on.
doing in the comics right now is just, it's so infuriating
Oh,
that
man.
we're having this instead of bisexual Peter Parker.
I've heard
Agreed.
about that shit.
Oh, no.
Agreed.
I think it is going to be an 8 because those yeses are such powerful yeses, which sometimes they're not powerful enough, but like, yeah, I mean, sorry, I'm like going catatonic with my like, I have been looking for Kraven the Hunter since I read fucking The Most Dangerous Game. And so the fact that I finally get it, So good. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, and the rest of them are all very good too.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
oh,
All right. Well, that gives us a final boner ranking for Spider-Man's corner of the Marvel Universe of 8.25 boners out of 10.
ooh, that's pretty
An
high.
exceptionally respectable showing.
It's very strong.
Yeah, very strong, very hot. And that just leaves us with one more question, which is, of course, what did we learn here today?
I learned that I was not expecting everyone else to say the serial killer part was as big of a no as it was. Because I focused in on the goo sex.
Mm-hmm,
And I learned that maybe my priorities and then sense of self-preservation could maybe use some rebalancing.
Yeah.
We have goo at home. And their name is Venom.
Oh, you know what? That's a very well-deserved scolding. Thank you.
But you know what, Annie? On a similar note, I was thinking about this. You and I thought about Mysterio in the same way, which is we were both like, oh, he's gonna use illusions to show off in the bedroom.
Uh-huh.
But for you were like, and he's such a dipshit that it's gonna go bad, and you're just gonna have come in your face all of a sudden with no warning. And I was like, I don't know, let's see what happens. And so I feel like when I try sometimes to picture myself as being, rational and reasonable and trying to take an honest look at these things, every now and again, something comes along where I'm like, is it gonna go bad? I mean, maybe. But let's give it a try and see. Number 3, Mysterio.
Yeah. I do want to point out that I resent how hot that scenario was for me. I truly do. I truly resent Annie for introducing that to my life.
I resent it, but I'm so grateful. Like, I feel both. Also, I want to say, I think what I learned is I didn't know that Dan could have the exact same fantasy about Tombstone that I would have. And I was like, Dan, have you been reading my AO3 history? Like, what the fuck?
I mean, when
that was
I
really good.
When I sat down to be like, what's sex with Tombstone like? That popped into my head, fully formed immediately, and I was like, oh, okay, that's what it is. All right, how hot is that? And then I just put it on my list.
It was so powerful.
It was extremely hot. It was very powerful. Dan, that was beautiful, and that meme, growth.
All
gorgeous.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll start turning out Tombstone fanfic for y'all if James will start turning out Black Cat fanfic for me because buddy.
My favorite part of being in a Hard Choices recording is when 3 other people just start reading microfic to me.
Yeah.
And I get to be taken on a journey.
It's the best thing. It's the only way I can bully my friends into reading me their microfics. Is I was like, fine, I'll record it then.
It's truly the only way that I have time to write the erotic fan fiction that the world deserves.
Absolutely. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about lessons that I learned, I think in the spirit of Spider-Man, the thing that I really learned today is even the most seemingly incompetent fuck up who can never get anything right in his life, no matter how many chances he's given, no matter how many times he is able to come back, he still makes mistakes. That person still has value.
Mm-hmm.
As my very, very good boy.
All right. Well, on that note, I think that about wraps it up for tonight. Before we take off, though, let's see what everyone would like to plug.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing that you would like to talk about? Annie, what are you doing that the world needs to hear about?
Yes.
Oh, so many things. If you want to find me on social media, the safe thing to do is just look up Anniezard wherever. And you will find me there. I'm the only one that uses that name, essentially. And if you want to find out about the shit that I'm doing, which is loud and on the internet, you can look at crookedrussiancam.horse or crookedrussiancam.gay. You can find out about I Will Fight You, which is honestly, I believe Bob described this as we're like sister podcasts, and I sincerely believe that in terms of loud energy about the dumbest shit.
Yeah.
Then you can also find out about Gem Jammer, our Spelljammer actual play podcast that is big and space and gay, and I love it. Or you can also find out about Date Me Damn It, our Otome Let's Play series on YouTube that I sincerely enjoy so much.
You've played some terrible games.
We've played some really terrible games.
Some shitty men who are
and we will
swaps.
romance them again. With God as my witness, we will romance the shittiest people in video games.
Oh man, that mummy one.
Oof.
Oof.
Oh, the mummy one. Oh my God.
Oof.
How about you, James? Do you happen to have, I don't know, any projects that you do on the side?
I feel like I could plug some projects. If you'd like to check out more of my work, you can check out the One Shot Podcast over at oneshotpodcast.com, where we tour different role-playing games. You can also check me out on Campaign Skyjacks, my anti-colonial queer pirate actual play. There's a lot of fun in there, and I won't say that it's not horny. We recently did a funeral episode for a character named Jerkoff Jerry, so there's some room in there. It's related. You can also check out my books, the Ultimate RPG Guide series. Wherever books are sold, go to your local bookstore. I will be on the shelf next to all of the other role-playing related things, so long as your bookstore is quality enough to have role-playing stuff there. And if you want to find me on social media and talk to me about the unspeakable things that I've said on this podcast, just look for One Shot RPG on most social media sites.
And I'm MeganBob, the creator of Hard Choices, the ruler of the Boner Kingdom, all of those things. I have things to plug because, folks, friends, our panel got accepted. We are going to do a live performance of Hard Choices at Rose City Comic Con. That is in Portland, Oregon. It's taking place September 22nd through the 24th. Hard Choices is actually, for reals, doing a live show at a sizable con. Now, I just found out about this very recently, so please accept the fact that we have limited information about this. Right now, we do not know when the panel is within September 22nd through the 24th. As soon as I know that, I will be making that information available on this feed. I will be mentioning it in the Patreon. I will be talking about it on Discord. I will also make it clear in all of the social media that I have now set up. I'm so sorry, socials media. I got to rep my Skeletor brand. Yes, that's right. I got an Instagram. Still figuring out what to do with that. I got a TikTok. No idea what to do with that. I have a Twitter. Understand that, but that is, that ship is sinking. I think we all accept. Waiting for my Blue Sky invitation to arrive. Hard Choices Pod is the handle on all of those. So Hard Choices Pod will find you, me, and all of the attendant information that you want to know about Rose City Comic Con taking place September 22nd through the 24th, which I want you to be there. Because guess who else is going to be there? I mean, me, obviously. And then Annie Craton, which is extremely fucking exciting. And Chris Newton and Hub. That's right. All of the Pacific Northwest folks. It is going to be a flannel turnout. I am thrilled. If maybe we may coordinate. We probably won't coordinate, but maybe we'll coordinate. The topic is 80s cartoon icons. So Cobra Commander, Mum-Ra, Skeletor, Starscream, probably Starscream. There's more important perhaps characters from Transformers, but Starscream, I have thoughts about Starscream. Also, very exciting. If you come to this and you get in there early, we are going to have one night stand gift baggies. We're putting those together now. They're going to have some fun treats in them. And also, we are giving out Hard Choices condoms to everybody who comes to the panel. That is right. They are going to be beautiful. They're going to be memorabilia that you are proud to have in your house. You can frame it. You can leave it in the center of the coffee table if you wish to make it into some kind of statement piece. You could also use it. It's a condom. It works. It does the thing. We know. Very effective. You can rep hard choices as you bone down. That's the direction we're moving. Whoever you're boning will see the little condom wallet with all the hard choices branding on it on the, nightstand and be like, that podcast. I mean, obviously they'll also think you're amazing. Clearly they'll think that. But after that, they're going to be like, that podcast, I bet that's where they learned all that good sex. So come meet me. Come hang out with us. Come to Rose City Comic Con September 22nd through the 24th. Get a high five from me and get a condom. I will absolutely high five you, look you in the eye, nod like, yeah, and then hand you a condom and do finger guns at you. 100% I will do that. If you want to keep in touch with us and make sure that you get all the information about when this is going down, at Hard Choices Pod, wherever you get your socials media. And both the Patreon and the public feed will have updates as soon as we know when the panel is taking place, as well as how long the panel is going to be, because that's still another thing that we're waiting to find out. But we are so excited. This is going to be incredible. And if you're wondering, well, but is there going to be a meetup? Oh, buddy, of course there's going to be a meetup. We would not do this without some kind of meetup. Do I know what it is yet? No clue yet. So many things, TBD. But definitely going to be a meetup. This is going to be tremendous. I cannot wait to see you there. Please, please come to Portland, Oregon for the Rose City Comic Con, September 22nd through the 24th. They have the hotel booking blocks available now. They are selling the badges, the whole schmear. If you want to come see us and you want to come see Hard Choices Live as we talk about 80s cartoon icons with me, Hub, Chris Newton, Annie Craton, you got to get in on this, buddy. It's going to be amazing. All right, and Dan, if you would be ever so kind to do the garden plots plug, which I am always afraid to do.
I do a podcast called Garden Plots with Skeletor. Everyone on this call has been on it in some form or fashion at some point. It is ostensibly a gardening show run by the He-Man villain Skeletor, but really it's a comedy audio drama in which a whole bunch of ridiculous cartoon characters come in, have misadventures, and maybe learn a little something about, I don't know, love. I barely listen.
Truly great gardening tips, actually.
Honestly,
Really great
yeah.
tips that I have used in my real life.
There you go. I also want to say, this podcast, Hard Choices, actually spun out of another podcast that MeganBob and I did years ago called Smash Fiction, which is a podcast all about putting together different fictional characters in various ways. I think it's really good. We're not making that podcast anymore, but it has a back catalog of way too many episodes. So if you ever just want to larf, check out some of our previous creative content. It's not bad.
You have to go. This is an assignment.
There you go.
You have to go and pick one to, because I did a lot of homework. For that show. I learned a lot about Spider-Man. I learned a lot about a lot of things. And I wrote fucking tremendous jokes about things that I had learned about, but 3 hours earlier. I have you're covered in boners now. You're sweaty. You're going to need to come down from this. Go pick an episode. Dan, name an episode.
How about the episode where we have Spider-Man fight all the inmates of Arkham Asylum?
We go.
That's a good one.
Done.
Yeah.
Go listen to that.
Yeah.
There. Thank you. Yeah. Honor all the homework that I did. I have spent years of my life on Marvel wikis, and friends, they're so long. They're so long.
Even the official ones.
They're pretty detailed.
They're not written in a good wiki way.
No, they're too long for a wiki.
But you did great, Bob. You did great.
Everyone
did great. Thank you all for joining us. It's been a real pleasure. And thank you out there for listening. And until we meet again, stay hard.
This has been Hard Choices. If you want to show your support and get even more goofs from behind the scenes, visit patreon.com/Hard Choices and become a patron. You'll get exclusive voting rights and participation in every weird new thing we do. If you like the show, please consider leaving a 5-star rating and review on the podcatcher of your choice. It shows people what's fun about the show and makes it easier for others to find it too. Hard Choices is produced by MeganBob. Our theme song is Funk Me by Soundroll. This piece and all music used in this production is licensed through Upbeat. You can find details in our show notes and listen to more great tunes at upbeat.io, spelled UPPBEAT.io. The Hard Choices logo is designed by Dan Mulkerin. If you'd like to get into touch with us, look for the Smash Fiction Fan Faction on Facebook and join the conversation. Thank you so much for listening and hanging out with us. You're a peach!